Grand Summit of Iecom 2022, Achieving a New Economy Through Innovation in a Disruptive Era.
Before we continue into the next session, who are we talking in front of these amazing participants without a proper introduction? So let us introduce ourselves as the Master of Ceremony of Iecom 2022 Grand Summit. Hello everyone, my name is Aditya Rimba.
And my name is Dasha Izafandi.
First of all, we would like to thank all the participants and invited guests who have taken the time to attend the ICOM 2022 Grand Summit. When the indefinite and unprecedented pandemic of COVID-19 lies such an uncertainty for our lives, but we wish we can have the slightest hope that help us to succeed in our daily lives.
Yes, indeed, Rima. I totally agree with you on this one. Next, we would like to announce the agenda for today's ICOM 2022 Grand Summit. So, firstly, we will have our opening, and second, we will have our opening speech from our notable speakers and representative. Third, we will have three webinar sessions, and then we will have appreciation session for the speakers. And sixth, I think this is one of the most something that is look forward from the participants, which are door prize. And seventh, there will be an awarding session for the grand finalists, and we will announce who is the winner of IACOM 2022. And last but not least, we are going to go to the closing.
Yes, that's what our agenda is for today. It's quite dense, Dash, but I'm sure there's a lot of knowledge that we can gain today. How are you, fellow participants? Are you ready to start or not? You guys can use the reaction feature on Teams to show your kindest reaction to this event.
Okay, we've seen some clap hands and just such a warm reaction from the participants. But before we can continue and start the main event, we would like to say thank you for Paragon and Makeover for being the main sponsor of ICOM 2022.
Also, we would also like to thank PT Paragon Corp, which is an FMCG industry that produces brands such as Putri, Wardah, Emma, Makeover, Calf, Labore, Biodev, Chrysler, and Insta Perfect. This time, Paragon Corp opens up a big opportunity for last year students and job seekers to be part of Paragon Management Trainee or Paragon Leader Development Program. To the audiences that would like to join Paragon, please visit Paragon Center website at career.paragon-innovation.com or the Instagram at grow@paragon and their LinkedIn Paragon Technology and Innovation.
Yes, but not only Paragon Corp. Uh, we have also our sponsor, which is Surya Energy Indotama. So this company was established on 6 December 2007 and then taken over as a subsidiary from Event News, Event Surabaya, Campus Update, Kompetisi Mahasiswa, Event Bandung. And without these companies and media partners, we surely cannot create this fantastic event for all of you. So, once again, we would like to give such a warm gratitude for the companies that we have already mentioned. So, moving on to the next agenda, it is an honor for us, me and Rimba, to inform you all that we have the honorable head of our major, ITB, here with us, who will be giving the opening speech.
Thank you, Aditya and Dasha. Sorry, can you hear me?
Hello, Ibu Hasrini. Yes, you're quite audible.
Hello, sorry, I'm on my way. Thank you again to Dasha and sorry, I forgot about Aditya. And to everybody, I want to all of you all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you to all of you who have attended this summit, the Grand Summit, the final event of the Industrial Engineering Competition 2020. 2020 event that organized by the MTI ITB Student Association. I would like to thank all participants, organizers, speakers, and sponsors, the main sponsors, and all of those who contributed to the success of this event. I really hope that this event can have a significant impact on growth and development to all of students here. For all of the students involved, for the participants, committees, and for the speakers and also lecturers, and even myself. As I mentioned at the opening event of the Iecom, this event is a good opportunity to learn about a lot of things, make mistakes, learn from them, and improve ourselves. This event is one of the vehicles to learn new things and is a winning celebration to all of us. No one lost because everybody has learned new things, as I said. Winning is not the main goal, but the process that students go through during the competition is more important. And lastly, I congratulate the organizing committee of all of the participants and also really all healthy competition shown during the event. Further, so hope that there will be a cooperation and brotherhood between industrial engineering students in ASEAN. Thank you to you all. Salam sehat. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to PMC.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam, Ibu Hasrini Sari. So I would like to say thank you so much for the opening speech. And yes, I believe that Iecom is such a wonderful place to learn. So once again, thank you, Ibu Hasrini, for the such a warm welcoming speech.
Next, we would like also to invite Ibu Dr. Made Andriani. As the head of engineering management in ITB, we would humbly invite you to give your welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Dasya and Rimba. Yeah, good afternoon all. I hope all of you are doing well. First, on behalf of Engineering Management Study Program, I'd like to thank all participants for participating in this competition. Event Iecom 2022 theme Achieving a New Economy Through Innovation in a Disruptive Era. And as we know, two keywords here, innovation and disruptive era, become critical issues in all industry, not only here in Indonesia, but also all over the world. We are facing three big disruptions now. Technology 4.0, COVID-19 pandemic, and also generational differences at the workplace. And these three disruptions drive the urgency in the industry to improve their capacity to adapt to all changes. And I hope in this competition, all participants can provide creative ideas which can be implemented in the industry to maintain their agility and sustainability. Second, I give a high appreciation for all our sponsors and partners, especially Paragon. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope next time we can do another academic collaboration so our students can improve their ability to identify and solve real problems in industry. And also for all the judges, thank you for joining us today. It's been an honor to having all of you here in this afternoon. And for the finalists, congratulations and good luck. All of you are the winner for me. I hope not only the finalists, but also all the participants get a valuable experience here, especially in developing your soft skill. Yeah, because here you learn how to communicate with others, work in a team, and also you meet new friends from other universities. And last but not least, a big appreciations for all the committees. Thank you very much for your hard work in arranging all sessions in this event. I hope more participants, more universities will join the next Iecom. That's all for me. Thank you, Dasya and Rimba. Back to you.
All right, what a warm and fantastic remarks by Ibu Dia and Ibu Hasrini. We would like to express our warmest gratitude for such wonderful speech. Therefore, please everyone to give your best reaction to the features available in this app as well.
Okay, and of course, we cannot leave the person that is behind all this series of event who had worked hard for ICOM 2022, the project officer itself of ICOM 2022.
To Kak Sharia Puspadevi Sri Amin as the project officer of IECOM 2022, the time and floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for Dash and for Imba for the opportunity. So, hello everyone. It is with great pleasure that I, on behalf of ICOM 2022 team, would like to welcome you to the final event, the end of our journey, ICOM's Grand Summit. Thank you for all of you who have taken the time of your day to come join us today. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our beloved speakers who are joining us today and are willing to present to us various topics throughout this day, hopefully to all of your enjoyment. I would then like to say thank you to the people behind it all, our Iecom team for making this event possible, and also thank you to our sponsor, Paragon Corp, Makeover, and PT Surya Energi Indotama for your support for ICOM 2022. Grand Summit hopes to gain insight on achieving a new economy through innovation in disruptive era by expanding your knowledge in economy, innovation, and also data that has a major role in this era. Once again, we are very honored to greet all of you here and hope that today on ICOM Summit would be a memorable event for all of you attending. Have fun, everyone, and thank you. That's all from me. Thank you. Back to you, Dasha and Rimba.
Okay, thank you so much, Kakan Nadia, for the floor once again. And of course, for such an amazing remarks. So once again, let's give a round of applause for the remarks that has been given by Ibu Ria, Ibu Hasrini, and also Kakan Shadia.
After the welcome remarks made by Buria Ibu Hasrini as the head of industrial engineering and engineering management major, and also from the project officer of IECOM itself, I'm pretty sure that all the participants is now very eager to move along to the main agenda of our event. So, without further ado, we are going to start our first speech with our speaker, Sir Krishna Walatika, with the theme of accelerated new economy in Southeast Asia.
Okay, but before we get into this exciting session, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Sir Krishna, and maybe the slide can go to the other slide first. Okay, so Sir Krishna Waratika is the financial officer of Microsoft Indonesia. He leads the subsidiary finance function, which comprises statutory and tax business partnerships, as well as control and compliance, on top of representing Microsoft externally. Also, Microsoft key people in driving company strategy, delivering business results, and it is a strong champion of finance in digital transformation with more than 10 years of experience. Wow, I feel like I'm such quite speechless of the achievements and the overall description. So I would like to greet Sir Krishna first. Hello, sir.
Hello, Dasha, Aditya, and everyone. How are you guys? Thank you so much for the kind introduction. I don't think I've done that much, but I think what I'll do today is definitely share what I've learned from my, this year is close to 13 years of career in finance and lately in the tech industry. And love to hear from you, actually, all of you, right? So note in the chat, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or any of the other social media, and then we'll share ideas.
Okay, so how do you feel
happened? I think those are definitely something what we probably didn't see coming a few years back, right? Who would have known that we are staying at home to work almost 2 years right now? But I think what the pandemic has definitely taught us is that resilience, adapting to change is the key. So just a little bit, and okay, I'm gonna put myself on presenter. No, I want to see the camera. So hopefully this is good enough for you. So what are we going to talk about today? mainly these 5 topics, and I'm probably going to go through some of them very quickly. So one, what does it mean, right, to be innovative? What are the disruptions that are happening in this world today, and just how disruptive is it, right? I think the rate of change is something that a lot of us do not realize, right? The changes that are happening on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, is something that would have taken years to happen, decades ago. So I think our ability as human beings are very important to adapt. And then we'll touch a little bit about digital economy. What does it mean? What's the future of it? And then how does it affect our future of work, right? I think when I think about the year that I graduated from university, which is 2009, I was definitely thinking of, joining big banks. I think it was still pretty much the industrial type of companies, right? That's why I joined General Electric. There were no, there were no Gojek, there were no Grab, there were no Tokopedia back then, right? So I didn't even know that there was such possibilities out there. So I think we need to really think about, especially you as students, right? When you think about what to do next after you graduate, I think this is a very important frame of mind as you think about the future. And then lastly, how do we win in a digital age? And when I say win here, of course, it's not a winner's take all kind of concept. I think it's a very collaborative economy today. I think a lot of people can win at the same time. So it's not like, I need to win and somebody else needs to lose at this point. Quickly on definitions, I know this is not a lecture. I hope I'm not going to bore you too much on that, but just I think it's important to set the tone. So I think from the first box on the left, innovation does not necessarily mean or does not require a new invention. So it's not the same thing, right? So of course you can always introduce or invent new goods and services, but any improvement in those existing goods and services can be very much an innovation as well. Disruption, what does it mean to be a disruption? So it has to be a change which is radical enough that changes an existing industry or market, and that comes about because of an innovation. I think these two concepts are pretty clear enough, but I think something that we also need to be aware about is what is the opposite of innovation and being adaptive to change. Is this concept of inertia. I think a lot of you guys are industrial engineering or any kind of engineering students where this concept in physics of inertia, right? So a body which is at rest will stay at rest. If it's moving, it will keep on moving in a constant speed, right? So it's very hard to make that change, right? From resting to moving or from moving to accelerating. We as human beings have that tendency to resist change. So I think that's, just accepting that fact and acknowledging that there is a natural tendency to resist change is the first step, right? Then how do we kind of go against that natural desire or natural concept and be someone or be a group of people that are pro or championing change. So that's something that needs to happen. Right. So some of you might be figuring out like, okay, why am I here? Right. I'm a finance person. I'm not an engineering person. Right. Why do I need to talk about change and technology? But I think, just to give some of the highlights, I'm fortunate enough to have been through some of the, I would say, most innovative companies that are there in the world, like General Electric, and right now with Microsoft. So I think I'm going to share some of the learnings that I've got, from these companies that I've been in and through some of my experiences as well. First, if we talk about GE, right? So General Electric, at some point, it was the biggest company in the world, right? If you see here, more than 120 years of history. We've got thousands of patents. But the concept is very simple. When the company was first started, the main mission was mainly to market this new product in 1879. Okay, and if you don't know, that product is a light bulb, right? So back then it was not common for people to use electric light bulbs. So this individual called Thomas Alva Edison found the light bulb, he patented it, and he needs a company to market this product. So he created this company called General Electric. And that's where it first started in 1879. I think throughout the 125 histories, there are so many new products and services that are being introduced. You can see here, GE had the first X-ray in 1896, first CT scan in 1976. It's still one of the main jet engine builders, and so on and so forth, right? So I think the culture of innovation is just embedded in its DNA. But I think very important to learn of what happened in, say, the past 3 years. I think the star of GE hasn't been shining as bright, and what I learned from that is it was a little bit late coming to the game of digital, being a digital company, right? And this is where I go back to that concept of inertia. GE was so big, right, in the early 2000s, going into 2010, such that when world started to change, other companies became a digital company, it was a lot more difficult for GE to make that change, right? Because it's already moving in a fast speed for so long that if you want to try to make it move in a different direction, the organization is so big, the systems are already kind of put in place, so that it's definitely not easy for them to make that shift, right? So that's the first lesson that I learned. Now come to the current company that I work with, which is Microsoft. Although it's still less than 50 years, so less than half of GE's age, but pretty old for a technology company, I would say, right? So I would say this is the younger giant, and also it has a very humble beginnings, right? So in 1975, in the early 70s, there were 2 university students that were trying to develop this new concept back then called a PC, personal computer. So in the early 70s, a computer takes the size of a room, right? So there's nothing small or even like, a handheld device that we can bring everywhere like today, right, with our laptops. So these 2 gentlemen, 2 very young university students, right, called Bill Gates and Paul Allen, they started this business in the garage of their home, basically figuring out, okay, how do we make people believe in this product called personal computer or PC, right? So it was started in 1975 with a very simple mission of, how do we get a PC in every home? So back then, 1975, that was still a very radical concept, right? People are like, oh, a computer is huge and we can only have it in the office. How do you bring a PC to every house, right? So this is a very simple concept, but back then it was still a very foreign concept. So fast forward, almost 50 years later, and we are now a cloud company, right? One of the biggest one with 160 billion annual revenue. We've got products that are, maybe some are more familiar to you rather than the rest. We've got the Microsoft 365, Windows 11, Xbox, LinkedIn is also a product. And lately we've been going bigger in gaming industry. So as of last month, we've announced the intention to acquire Activision Blizzard globally, which will then make us the 3rd largest company in the world for gaming. So what I can see the difference between what I've experienced in GE in Microsoft is that for a technology company, I think the change is in the DNA. right? And change is so fast that everyone is kind of used to thinking of, okay, what is the next change that is going to come, right? So we anticipate, we expect that change to happen rather than somebody else telling us that we need to change because the world is changing, right? So I think internally, every company right now, small or big, needs to have that change accelerator DNA within their own companies. Of course, in Indonesia, we've been here for 27 years, and we're trying to empower everyone in the country. We have this hashtag called Berdayakan Indonesia. So we talked about disruption, we talked about change, but how drastic has the change been, in the world, right? So I want to illustrate this with this list of 10 biggest companies by market capitalization. So I took a snapshot of, the 2012 list versus the 2022 or this year's list, right? So if you look on the list in 2012, one of my key takeaways is that, we have Exxon, we have Chevron, right? We have BHP Billiton, right? These are all energy-related oil kind of companies, right? So back then in 2012, oil was the most important thing that is fueling the economy. So move forward 10 years to 2022 right now, we don't see any of those companies anymore, right? Exxon is not there, Chevron is not there. I mean, it's still existing, it's still on the list somewhere, but it's not in the top 10. What is there? Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, which is the parent of Google, Amazon, Tesla, Facebook, right? I mean, these are all technology companies, right? So technology right now is the main driver or the main lever of our economy. So that's just how much the world has changed. When we talk about S&P, top companies in the world, what studies have shown is that companies that are innovative create greater returns, right? So this is why basically what the share price reflects is how much trust the shareholders or the investors put in the company, right? And so when you make more profits, which is the result of being an inventor, disruptor, and so on and so forth, the performance of the company will be good, and the shareholders will put much trust in you, such that the value of the shares itself will go higher and higher, right? And so there is a correlation between innovation, performance, and the overall value of the company itself. All right, so I want to talk about some of the examples that probably some of you are more familiar with, right? And I want to try to illustrate how innovation and how disruption works in some of these disruptions. So I can't really see right now the screen, but if you can just put some of the maybe like give a heart sign or whatever, right, from the response, if you've heard the company called Airbnb, right? Maybe some of you, a lot of you have used the services before, right? So this company was only started in 2007, so slightly over 20 years from today. But what is so amazing about them is that they have managed to beat the incumbent, the other competitions, in a much shorter time and in a way that was not expected by the competitors, right? So back then, the giants were Marriott, Sheraton, Hilton, right? They have thousands and thousands of hotels around the world, right? And they thought that, okay, we're dominating the industry because, of course, for a new player to go into the industry, it was not so easy, right? Because somebody had to physically build a hotel, right? And then, of course, to build, thousands of hotels around the world, it will take years, right? So they were like, okay, I think we're quite safe, right? But came this Airbnb concept where they said, okay, to be a hotel or a travel accommodation, I don't really need to build physical hotels. What I need is just a concept, an online platform, while I can match between whoever has a room, right, in a house or in a hotel or whatever, and then those people who need these rooms, right? And so they built that platform that kind of marries, the consumers and the providers of the service. And so by doing that, they broke the barrier of entry into the industry, right? So we see how Marriott took 100 years to build this 21 billion company, while Airbnb in just about 10 years they did that very quickly, right? So that's great and all, Airbnb, but then you know what happened? COVID, right? We couldn't travel, right? It's kind of out of our list. We need to stay home right now and make sure we're all safe. So again, it wasn't such a blow to Airbnb that they had to definitely reinvent themselves again, right? They need to try to find a concept that would fit into this new world that is created and affected by this thing called COVID. So change and change and change needs to happen all the time. All right, another set of hands if you have heard or have used this services called Netflix. I think this is something that a lot of us have done in the pandemic, since we can't really go out, and then we just stream videos from our homes, right? So the first chart shows that back in 2009 or early 2000s, right, companies like Disney were 100-fold bigger than Netflix. But then that gap, right, between just 10 years, right, between 2009 2018, Netflix became just as big as Disney. Disney is like also many years in the making, right? And so what disruption did Netflix change or cause in the whole industry, right? Again, I think similar to what Airbnb did to the hospitality industry, Netflix also broke the barriers where, instead of going to the movies and then waiting for a few months for movies to be released, I think they changed the concept, right? We can stream their services from anywhere in our homes, in schools, offices, even on the road, right? When you're on a public transport, you can see it everywhere. And they make it available anytime, right? So I think they were one of the first ones that came up with this concept of binge watching, right? So I think when we were still watching, traditional TV, I think we had to wait maybe like once a week, right, for a new episode to come, right? And so that took a lot of our times, right? But right now, right, Netflix would be making available, an entire season of something, immediately, and you can just finish the whole season in one night or maybe like, a few days, right? So I think that's another disruption that Netflix have brought to the industry. But then again, similar story. COVID came, right? At first, it was a good impact, of course, for Netflix, but I think some of the data have shown that going into 2021 and 2022, it's starting to lose its market share to Apple TV, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and all that, right? So the story here is never be complacent, right? You might be a disruptor, you might be the change at some point, but very soon somebody else will just come behind you and come with the next thing, right? So if you don't keep on reinventing, you don't keep on finding new innovations, I think you will find that sooner or later you will start to be on the losing end. And when we talk about digital economy, what accelerated is basically this very simple concept of the internet, right, and the mobile phones. And you've seen, for the first part of the 1900s, I think there was no much change, right? But then towards the late 1900s and going into the 2000s, that's where we would have like a new model of smartphone almost every other week, right? We can't even keep up with the Samsungs and the iPhones of the world, right? And so with that, the rate of change towards digital economy also is happening. what does it mean, this digital economy, right? There's a lot of people talk about it, but what does it mean? So this is where the economic activity resulting from a lot of just online interactions among people, data, hyperconnectivity. I think if we mention Industrial 4.0, then the Internet of Things will come into play. So all of these combined, they have resulted in, reduced search costs, better coordination, more automation, and hence greater innovation, right? And so this is where the digital economy is starting, and it's definitely on a very fast-moving rhythm right now. One of the greatest stories about the digital economy is a platform economy, right? So a lot of the new and very big companies right now are using this platform concept, which was first started or introduced by Uber back in 2009, right? So you have the platform in the middle, and what it does, it connects the sellers and the buyers. Simple concept that was done hundreds of years ago in the market, right? But how do they kind of accelerate this change, for their own good? Basically, it's with scale, right? It's kind of a chicken and egg story where the more riders you have, the more customers you have, and then it kind of goes in a circle, and it keeps on building itself, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you see some of the ride-hailing companies, for example, that are less successful, is because they don't have enough customers, and so they won't have enough drivers that sign up on them, and then the more and more it will digress from there. And then the next asset that they use is, of course, data, right? So if we talk about oil versus technology as a driver of the economy, data is the new oil, right? So if we used to talk about people that are rich, oh mereka itu kayak raja minyak, I don't think that concept is as relevant today as it was in the 80s and 90s. But if you have data, then you're pretty much king, right? And what do they do with this data is they monetize it, right? One, they can use it to analyze their consumers' behaviors, and they can come up with better services, more targeted marketing activities from that, right? Basically using data to make themselves even more profitable. And lastly, at the end of the day, when we talk about economy, cash is king, right? So whether you like it or not, all these things, right? Ride hailing, e-commerce, right? They want to be a payment sort of platform. That's why you see with Gojek, you have GoPay, right? With Grab, they used to have this thing with OVO, but then I think they have other types of online banks right now that they are trying to develop as well, right? Because money makes the world go round, right? And so if you are sort of a bank by yourself, even though you don't call yourself a bank, I think that's where you get a lot of the power. Quickly, just very when you talk about ASEAN, right? I think this is reverse trend coming in, right? So Gojek and Grab came from Indonesia and Malaysia respectively, right? But then they start branching out to different countries as well, right? So Gojek right now is in Vietnam, is in Singapore as well, right? And Grab from Malaysia, they went to Singapore to Indonesia. I think this is another trend where we see unicorns, digital natives coming out from a single country, say in ASEAN, and then they reach out to a broader market. And to us, ASEAN makes a lot more sense because we have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of corporations. We need to be aware of this whole concept of winner take all, right? Uber was a player in the market, right? But then it realized that probably it couldn't compete with Gojek and Grab in some of the markets, and so they exited the market and they sold their share to Grab, right? So there is this thing again going into the power of change change, right? Even with coming together, a lot of collaborations, a lot of synergies need to happen, right? Because I think a lot of those individual companies realize that soon enough they can't just win by themselves. What's going to happen in ASEAN is that a lot of the work will be replaced by automation, and then that's a trend that I think we knew, right? We need to know that it's coming, but how do we then, if we are in those industries that are going to be heavily affected by this trend, how should we think about it, right? So I just want to leave you with this thought of there are certain labor aspects that are more difficult to be automated, and this is where you have the human touch, right? Where a lot of, say, in the accounting industry, we can replace, say, accountants with robots. A lot of the things, say, in the hospitality industry, waiters, receptionists, things like that. I think there is still a human touch that needs to happen there, and so I feel the effect of automation will be at least slower there, right? And so the challenge is that how do we as human beings still value add into the economy and make sure that we don't get replaced by robots, but at the same time, we create technology that complements, right, from a business process, make it more productive, make things faster, right? So not to replace ourselves, but how do we complement ourselves with technology? I think I'll go very quickly on this because of the time, but I think this is a very interesting graph to me. Why ASEAN's future is so interesting, because, from a coverage standpoint, we only have 88% of the population covered with drinking water. We have 88%, covered for electricity, 85% for education, sanitation, but mobile phones, guys. For every 100 people, we have more mobile phones than the number of people. And so this is where, when we talk about, internet, mobile phone, digital economy, ASEAN will go so big on this in the next few years. Digital natives, what this graph shows you is that, okay, in 2013, we have 1 unicorn, Lazada. 2014, we have 2. 2015, 2. The rate was kind of slower until 2020, maybe about 5 to 6 new unicorns every year. But in 2021, where everyone was just staying at home because of the pandemic, we have like more than 20 new unicorns, right? What does it mean is that this COVID is also an accelerator of change, right? If you use, the right kind of formula of technology, the trends, I think, there's so much value that we can realize out of these trends. How to win, start with your customers, right? Of course, create the products and services with innovations that will meet your customers' needs, but complement that as well with excellent business models and business processes. I can talk for days about digital transformation. This is my life story, right? But you can see here why in every type of organization, companies, right, there is this journey about digital transformation that everyone goes through, starting from giving every employee a computer until connecting the computer, using the cloud, analyzing the data, using artificial intelligence, machine learning to predict what's going to be happening in the future, and goes into automation, right? I think at some point we'll have programs that will be able to make decisions on our behalf based on what the machine is telling us. So what did we learn about Netflix and Airbnb, right? Adaptability is the only key skill that you need, right? You might be a winner at some point, but somebody else will come in with a new idea that will break your market, right? What we did learn from GE, right? Inertia can be a deadly thing. So we need to keep the company agile from a products perspective, services, the technology that we use, right? COVID-19 was just an example of a disruption in our society right now. But going into the next few years, who else knows what is going to come, right? So we need to keep on looking out for the trends that are coming and adapting ourselves in a way that we will become winners. And then finally, just resilience, right? Through change, what that makes us as human beings is resilient, raise human beings, and then we will win through that. So lastly, just to round this out, right? Ideas are excellent, innovations are needed, disruptions will all be there, right? But always have a bigger picture of how do you sustain the success in the long term, right? So think about sustainability. It may be not as natural for sort of smaller companies when they just start, but very quickly when you get traction, things about the next 1, 2, 3, 10 steps, right? And what are the impact that you are leaving to everyone and everything around you. So always start with the strategy, right? And I said this is as kind of like a conclusion to my points. Start with what the customers want, right? So think about the trends that are happening. Who are your customers? What do they need, right? And then think about how do you make yourself better, make your products better, make your services better, make your technology better, right? Make your business processes better, and so on and so forth. And then this is a famous saying by Satya Nadella, our CEO for Microsoft, is that strategy is good, but culture eats strategy for breakfast. So culture is even more important than breakfast. And the question is really, how do you foster not just an innovative culture, but collaborative, innovative culture, right? This is a collaborative economy. I don't think anyone will be able to succeed by their own. So it's where you have this collaborative mindset where you can work with even your competitors, right? How do you make yourself better? And I just want to recommend this really excellent book by Dr. Carol Dweck on mindset, where the growth mindset is really the key, where every day you wake up and you think about how do I grow as a human being. And then lastly, just to round things up with the bigger picture on environmental and societal impact. Like it or not, I think the data is so obvious, right? I think if you watched the Netflix movie Don't Look Up, I think it's a beautiful concept, right? Where a lot of people have been telling us for years, right, that the ice caps are melting, right? Global temperatures are rising. And so, we've got this climate change just knocking on our door. So I think all of us as companies, as individuals, organizations, we need to think about, our carbon footprint. What are we leaving behind for our children, grandchildren, right? Will there be still a world 100 years from now to succeed in? I think that's our responsibility as well. And lastly, is societal impact, right? You may have great strategy, culture, environmental impact. If your people are not taken care of, I think that's a big miss, right? So we need to talk about internal people satisfactions, right? But at the same time, what do you bring to the society? So we talk about gender equality. How are we treating? Are we giving enough opportunity for people with disability, for example, right? So those are some of the things that we need to think about so that no one is left behind. And so with that, that's the end of my presentation. Hopefully, you'll get some of the learnings here, and I would love to get some of your comments. So leave that on the chat box, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn and we can have further discussion. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sir Krishna, for the presentation. I feel like this presentation is very rich and very insightful for everyone. So if I may little sum up the key points that I write down. So first, what I feel like it's very interesting that Sir Krishna said was change should be in any company's DNA. That was very inspiring and can be very implemented not only for companies but for us as individual as well. And also with examples that has been explained, such as Netflix and Airbnb as the disruptor. At some point, there will be a new competitors, and we need to anticipate that we need to be agile, be adaptive, be resilient from in a holistic view as well. So, and yeah, sustainability is key. And yeah, I guess that is all for my quick summary. It was such a comprehensive and insightful presentation. So thank you, Sir Krishna.
Thank you so much.
All right, before we continue to another segment of this event, we would like to express our warmest gratitude, especially to Sir Krishna for taking the time to come to Iecom Grand Summit 2022 and share his knowledge with us. I hope this session can be beneficial for us all, and therefore we would like to invite Kakansha to give the certificate as a form of appreciation to Sir Krishna. Kakansha, the floor and time is all yours.
Ano, boy? Suara Anda dimatikan. Oh, harus kita yang ini.
Okay, I guess we're waiting for Kakansha to be present for a while, and maybe for the technical team to share their presentation first. Okay, because the screen is already been shared, is Kansha available on this meeting? Okay.
Hello? Yes,
Hello,
I
Kak.
Hey. So yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. So this is a little bit of our gratitude to Mr. Krishna Rotikan for the amazing insight about Microsoft and about economy in Grand Summit itself. So thank you so much once again, Mr. Krishna Rotikan, for your time and your amazing insight for us. So this is a little bit of our certificate of appreciation from Iecom 2022.
Thank you so much, and good luck to all of the participants.
Okay, maybe for this certificate session, we would like to take a first picture to commemorate this event. Okay, maybe I would count until 3 for the technical team. 3, 2, 1. Okay, then. Okay, thank you so much, Kakansa, for giving the certificate of appreciation and also for Sir Krishna for the amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again. So, as we said before, the event does not stop here. There are more amazing and astonishing speakers that will open our mind even further. But of course, before that, we cannot create this wonderful event as amazing as it is without our media partners, 8EH Radio ITB, Event Banget, Fun Radio, High Event, Info Lomba,
LFM ITB, Lomba-Lomba, Magang Update, Pasundan Radio, Pro Alma FM as the company that has been supporting us until this point right now. However, over the next agenda, me and Dasha will not be here to entertain you guys. So sad.
It's okay, Rima. Don't worry, because the next session will be led by our amazing Mr. Moderator, who will be introduced by us soon. But as of now, we are proudly to announce that we are going to move on to the second session of Iecom Grand Summit 2022 with the theme of entrepreneurial mindset to initiate a sustainable business during economic hard times.
All right, well, you explained it very well, Dasha, and I believe we should not keep our participants here waiting. So let's introduce our notable moderator and speaker.
Okay, like I said before, this session will be moderated with Sir Aditya Parama Setiabudi. He is an academic assistant at Bandung Institute of Technology and also human resources officer at Total EP Indonesia. And also he is the master of science in data analytics and business economics from Hong Kong Baptist University.
Wow, even the moderator achievement blows my mind away already, Dasha. How about the speakers?
Okay, maybe go on to the next slide first. Okay, Rima, I assure you'll be astounded as well when you hear the this session keynote speakers. So for this session, we will have Sir Laksamana Sakti. Sir Laksamana Sakti, also known as Sir Alif, is graduate from Institute Technology of Bandung and also University College London, who acknowledges the concerns of Indonesia's environment and economy. Due to that, Sir Alif decided to join and build Cyclus in 2020 with the goals of solving the issues surrounding the environment and economy. And also now he is the head of business operations at Cyclus, senior associate at EY, and also the technical advisor at PTPP TBK.
Wow, I'm in utter speechless, Dash. But you need to know that not only Sir Ali who will be talking in this session, but also we have Ma'am Kavlina Lietara for the slide. Can you go to the next one? Thank you very much. So, Ma'am Kavlina Lietara is the head of business innovation at Paragon Technology and Innovation, head of corporate real estate management division at Paragon Technology and Innovation, project manager at Paragon Technology and Innovation, and also a Master of Business Administration degree from Prasetya Mulia University.
Wow, we have such an amazing keynote speakers for this session. So we would like to invite Sir Parama, Sir Alif, and Miss Shaflina first to the meeting. They are available?
Yeah.
Okay, hello,
Okay.
Sir Parama.
Hello. Please give a virtual applause to the MC, Dasha and Rimba.
Oh, I'm very flattered. Thank you, sir. Okay, we've seen that
Okay.
the speakers is here as well. So without further ado, we would like to give the time and floor to Sir Parama.
Okay. Thank you once again. Good morning. Kumusta? Magandang umaga. It's in Tagalog, by the way. Thank you again for inviting me to the grand event for the organizing committee and for all participants. Thank you so much for investing your time with us on this Saturday morning. My name is Parama. I'm the moderator of the sessions. Let me begin by sharing a stories. Once upon a time in a kingdom that was led by a wise king, the king wanted to find which one of their citizens is adaptive enough to the disruptive technology, for example. He put a big boulder in the middle of the road and just leave it. The next day, a farmer come and he just complained, why somebody put a boulder in the middle of the road? It blocked my road. And he just did complaining without doing anything. The next day, a milkman come across the roads and also he find a similar situations. He found a boulder, a big stone, to block their way, and he just complained, oh, who is that? Where's the king? He's just complaining like us, complaining to the government maybe because of the situations. Okay, he just complained and left. One day, a student come to the road. He walked and he saw a big boulder that blocked his path to schools or to universities, for example. And he pushed the boulder with all his might and with his energy until the big stone moved. And when he come back to this road, he find a note. He picked the paper and opened it, and inside this was written, "You are the true wealth of these nations. There are two kinds of people, talkers and doers. Talkers merely talk while doers do." Okay, guys, the moral of this story is COVID-19, as we know, it's impacted our life a lot. Not only your study, works, business, everything was impacted by COVID. But instead of complaining and regretting it, take a step to change. Some people, they create opportunity. They started a business. They have entrepreneur mindset. They adapted with the condition. Like Pak Krishna said before, adaptability is the only key skill needed. Okay, that's the story. And today we have an amazing panel of entrepreneurial mindset for the first one. And the second one is technological development in the industrial 4.0 era. Well, we'll be talking about a big trends that we need to keep our eye on that could directly impact our study and works. Okay, but before we dive into the panel discussion, I want to take the temperature of this room. How many of you are entrepreneur or have your own business? You can raise your hand in the feature. How many of you already started a business, or how many of you already start selling things or make your own products? May I know? You can raise your hand. How many of you are already entrepreneur? Okay, let me check. Okay, some of you raise your hand. Thank you. That's quite a lot. I didn't expect that. Search for and skip rising. Okay, great. We get some of us already start their own business. Great. Okay, then our goal today is whatever the role is and industries that you will come away with something. Either it's new idea, a fresh perspective, a new strategy that you could apply to be more successful in your study, career, or even your love life. Okay, so it's the format to give you an idea for what to expect. First, each speaker will briefly present a topic for around 10 minutes. Then we'll open the floor to give you an opportunity to ask directly or via Slido. The committee will share this Slido link later. Okay, sounds good? Great, let's get started with the panel presentations. For the first speakers, I would like to invite Palif to deliver his speech.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, Palif.
Okay, so first of all, a bit disclaimer. I'm in middle of nowhere right now, so doing some pilot in one of the islands in Labuan Bajo. So hopefully the internet allows me to, present this thing in a good manner. But if there is any, connection error or whatsoever, please just let me know, and then I'm trying to use my cell internet. So lots of backup here. Hopefully, I can do this presentation very well. And now, can you help me to present the slides?
Yeah, Alif, the committee already presented. I share the screen. Already
wait.
Display the cover of your presentation.
See it. Wait, I see it.
I'm not really sure about the MS Teams because not as familiar as Zoom. Could you help us, committee? I already see the screens, but
wait.
Yet? So the committee already stop and start shared again. Can you see the slide?
Not yet, but um, I'll just start. Okay, that's the trouble. Let me wait a minute. Let me just. Yep. Okay. Now you can see the presentation. Okay. Next slide, please. Let me just run through. I have it also the slide now with me. So let me just see where the panitia is in the screen. So hopefully I can manage to do that. But before that, let me just introduce myself. Thank you, Pak Parama, for introducing myself and also the team. Also, Pak Krishna, for a really good presentations, I would say. Would love to connect more on how we can help each other to create like a disruptive business. And hopefully in these sessions, I can talk a lot about entrepreneurial as well as a lot more on like social entrepreneurship. Before that, let me just keep short introducing myself. My name is Alif. So thank you also for introducing my name right. So my name is Laksamana Sakti, but people call me Alif. And then now I'm heading the operations in Cyclus. But before that, I was in consultant in UI Consulting. And then before that, I was also an engineer. That's why I take like a master degree also in engineering. Also my bachelor degree is also in engineering in ITB. Next, the agenda here, just a simple agenda. So I'm going to talk about the general entrepreneurs, so we can, so I can really inspire all of the people here, not only to give you like some motivations, but also give you some general ideas on what entrepreneurial is and also how to become one, and then my experience with Cyclus. Next. Maybe we can go to the slide 5. About entrepreneurial itself, just want to say there are a lot of things regarding entrepreneurs. To slide 5. There are a lot of things regarding entrepreneurs. Also, people are talking a lot about what is entrepreneurs, but actually there is no like rigid terms on entrepreneurs. So you can even define it yourself about entrepreneurs. What I would like to actually just give you some example is actually entrepreneurs is a person who discover opportunities, assemble resources, not only the technology, not only the funding, but also the people itself, and also exploit whatever the opportunities to create some wealth. So this is something that is like very fundamental in the in entrepreneurial. Next, this is the 6 types of slide 6. This is the common type of entrepreneurial. There is a high growth entrepreneurial, there is lifestyle, there is small businesses, there are also by acquisitions, there's also social focus, as well as large corporate base. So I'm going to go through this and then, see whether this is match, what you want, etc. The first one, slide 7, is the venture-based startup. This is basically something that is, the business model is already been proven. There are a lot of funding there, and then they are trying to use the funding to basically exploit whatever it is. For example, the market, etc. So they want to create this market. They want to dominate the market. This is something that is previously also been said with the previous speaker about Gojek and Grab. So this is kind of the same. Next, we're going to go to lifestyle business. So probably you can go to slide 8. So the slide 8 is about lifestyle business. This is something that probably similar to what people in, for example, like young people as well as people who love their passions. They have passions, and then they want to create some money on it. So this is like lifestyle business. You may know a lot about Dodo. There are also similar type of things about this, but usually this is businesses that is exploiting lifestyle. Um, let's go to next. Since I only have like 9 minutes. Let's go to slide 9. On slide 9, we have organic growth business. Organic growth business meaning that like a traditional business, and then you grow organically. What are the difference between, for example, like startup and then the organic growth business? The organic growth business is basically a very simple business that there is a proven business model, and then the financial itself is usually funded by the founders. They can loan from banks, for example, because they already understand the business model itself, and then it's already been proven. So they can just create the organic growth, and then they just go. And basically, this is something that you can start with your own family, etc. Next. It's the entrepreneur by acquisition. Slide 10. This is something that is already existing business, and then you want to create more value on it. So this is also the type of business that probably you can you already know. For example, like Genius, Jago, it is an existing business, and then they want to create more of it, and then they try to acquire it, and then they try to develop it. There's also an example of La TV, previously like some old TV, and then now they are refurbishing it and then trying to create like new TV stations. So there are also a lot of business related to entrepreneurship by acquisition. Next. Next is the corporate entrepreneurship. We can go to slide 11. I'm just stating the obvious here. So there are a lot of also, if you work after this, you work in telecom, you work in even in government public sector. There are currently a lot of avenue for you to actually explore the entrepreneurial itself. One of it is actually corporate entrepreneurship. What is it? It's actually an entrepreneurship that is started inside like a big corporate thing, meaning that this is already like a proven business model, and then trying to create like a new model that probably work. So this is something that usually we call it like corporate entrepreneurship. Next. Slide 12. Lastly, what I've been doing right now is social ventures, and I'm going to talk a lot on this, and then you can also give question and answers on this. This is something that is first and foremost is actually focusing on the impact itself, but the difference from the others is actually usually we don't get like the profits in like year 1 or year 2, but we're trying to get it in the long terms. So that's why a lot of funders is actually not only from the normal venture capitals, but also from like an impact fund or even like grants. But you may also notice that since this is an entrepreneurship, meaning that this is a profit driven, meaning that we are trying to be a business at first, trying to really make it like sustainable, but in like an economical standpoint. So this is like you need to also differentiate between NGO as well as the social ventures. Next, slide 13. What is impact entrepreneurship? I will talk deep a lot on this, but most importantly, is actually this is something that is not traditional. Why? Because most of the times, impact entrepreneurship is most of the business is not really proven yet. And then we trying to shake up things. For example, like what Cyclus did is actually shaking up the supply chain of the FMCGs. That is why it's actually very slow moving at first. But then we are aiming to scale up and then create a lot more impact in the long run. Next, slide 14. And how to become one. I really want to give you some based on my experience on. There is some people who loves to do like entrepreneurs, but I also want to give you some, disclaimer, caveats on whatever.
Alif, sorry for interruption.
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes left for the sessions.
Yep.
Thank you.
Slide 15. What I want to give you an example is actually you need to also have these two things only, passions and also perseverance. It will create grit, meaning that you will face a lot of challenges and then you will face a lot of, I would say, like solitude, meaning that only you who has this idea and then only you who wants to make this idea possible. That's why you need to some perseverance. Uh, People will, turn you off, whatever, but then you can keep pushing and then you keep trying to, make this business as successful as possible. So this is something that I'm trying to also give, want to share to you. Next slide, please. Some steps of entrepreneurships, we can talk about this later, but first and foremost, you cannot just buy and then like buying a pasta and then throw it into wall and then see which one sticks. So I'm really trying to be very lean, try out first, and then try to scale up after you understand the business model itself. Since my time is off right now, I just want to give next 2 slides. Just 1 more minute for cycles. Currently, it starts with an idea. Basically, we want to reduce the consumption of plastic problems, and then we are trying to solve it by driving refills into your door. So basically, we are doing that, and then we kind of see the impact itself, and then trying to make the business out of it. It has a lot of challenge, but it has a lot of opportunities, and I think in this topic, what we really see is actually to the visions. We can basically try to a lot of those challenges is actually can be overcome with a lot of ideas, with a lot of tech that we can get it from some advice from our friends, our mentors, etc. So I really want to give you some example of what I'm doing right now. I also said that technology plays a big role, and then I think the last point that I want to mention is the slide number 22. It's about what we aim in the next 2 years is actually first and foremost is impact itself. So in terms of like social factors, we will all go the north side itself is the impact, and then you you jot down and then you get like the profits, whatever. But the first and foremost is actually the impact itself. That's it from me. We can talk more on the discussions. Unfortunately, I only have like 10 minutes, so hopefully my presentation can wake you up from the curiosity of impact entrepreneurship. Thank you so much.
So sorry, Sir Parama, but we think that your sound is not audible to us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rimba, for your notification. I forgot to unmute my microphones. Okay. Once again, thank you, Valif, for the insightful presentations. And Cyclus, really interesting idea. And I wonder whether could you refill my bottle since already empty, and I too lazy to go outside to take water. Okay. By the way, we will proceed to the second speakers in this first sessions, which also will present about entrepreneurship mindsets. I will invite Calvina to present her idea.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Parama. Can you hear my voice loud and clear? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you too to Mas Alivia for giving such insightful presentation and want me to know more about Cyclus, because I only read it in Instagram and your presentation really were eager to know more about Cyclus. So, hello everyone, hello students. Maybe I will just tell in general what is entrepreneurial mindset today. My name is Calvina. You can call me Cal. I'm head of business innovation in Group Corporate Innovation Office in Paragon Corp. So Mas Alif mentioned earlier about corporate entrepreneurship, and that's what I do in my team. So in Group Corporate Innovation Office in Paragon, we create like a corporate startup. So every day in business innovation team in daily basis, we listen to consumer insight and learn about their pain and gain and deliver business innovation model like what Mas Alif has said before. So maybe I won't talk about this much because Mas Alif already covered about it, like what is an entrepreneur. But maybe I want to highlight one point to you guys, that entrepreneur is all about creating value to consumer needs. Because entrepreneurship can only happen if you have a customer that they have certain needs, like we want maybe a cheaper bottle or maybe better service, and we found a product or service that gives the value. So when the transaction happen, that's what we call it's entrepreneurship. So you have to get the two elements to be entrepreneur. But maybe we often hear several myths regarding entrepreneurship, like the first one, we hear certain people or certain CEO comes in media and we hear we really want to be him or her, but individual doesn't start companies. That a company can only be happen if you have a team, and the fact that is more founder with better odds of success than when you are working alone. Because I believe entrepreneurship is not a one-man show. And the second one, that entrepreneurship are charismatic. Maybe we often see like cool people talking outside, but charisma is something that's very difficult to sustain. Like maybe one day we can be very charismatic, but tomorrow maybe not. So what we need as an entrepreneur is to be effective communicators. Why? Because we need to communicate ideas. The second one is good recruiters, because we need to develop a good team, and salespeople, because in the end, if we cannot sell the value of our product services to others, the ideas will not turn into innovation and not turn into entrepreneurship. And the last one, entrepreneurship are genetic. When I was a child, I often hear that, it's no wonder he's an entrepreneur because his mom or his dad is a businesswoman or businessman, right? But entrepreneurship is not genetic, it's a skill that can be taught. There are so many books and business schools that talk about entrepreneurship, and many company and startup that teach about it to the employee. Yeah. So in order to be entrepreneurship, we need to have entrepreneurship spirit. Agree with what Mas Alif said. The first one is we have to be a pirate that explore many opportunity, new challenges, not afraid of what things might happen next, but also skills of Navy SEAL. Because if you just be a pirate but without the discipline of a Navy SEAL, you won't survive, and you cannot stay adaptive in the disruptive world. That's why we really have to be self-efficacy, that we need to be more confident about what we can do. We need to have internal locus of control, motivation, growth mindset, and of course, resiliency, because being an entrepreneur is quite hard while you facing many uncertainty. And entrepreneurship is about discipline process. Like many people say, maybe if I have a good ideas, like I want to build a company that can solve pure problems or whatever, you have that creativity, right? I believe that everyone have great ideas, but once again, ideas is cheap, because when you cannot turn the idea into commercialization, you cannot sell the ideas to others, you cannot create innovation. You need commercialization to create creativity from innovation. And when we continue doing that, and we make it happen, learn from results, and we being adaptive, I believe that's when innovation happen and entrepreneurship happen. That's why I think the entrepreneur is always search for something innovate, because if we don't innovate, we cannot survive in many situations. And innovation is very relevant with entrepreneurship, because it's also added value. Like we search, how can we make this product or service be better? How can we reduce like maybe waste, like in cyclus diet gitu? And how can we make continuous improvement? And most importantly, how we can meet the customer's needs. And that's why one single important thing as an entrepreneur is, maybe you can guess, but it's not about the ideas, or maybe about the technology, or maybe even about the team. One thing that you have to find when you want to be an entrepreneur is a paying customer, because you have an idea, you create the prototype, but if you cannot find single person who want to pay for that product, you're not an entrepreneur. You need to find someone who believe that this product is very helpful for me and I want to pay for it. That's when you entrepreneur. And especially now, as mentioned by Mr. Krishna in the previous session, we live in a very VUCA world, like it's very volatile, rapid, unexpected challenge. We face many uncertainty, pending change, non-unknowns. The world is also so complex and ambiguity, especially when the times with COVID-19, many unemployment. But on the other hand, we search around the internet and finding out about metaverse. Like the world is very complex and surprising in every time. That's why we really have to learn about the different of two types of innovation. The first one is sustaining innovation. I think this is quite relevant with Mas Arif said about organic growth strategy, because in sustaining innovation, the problem is well understood. Like we want to give better and more delicious drinks. The market is already exists, and the innovation only improve small performance, so it give lower cost, incremental change, and customer is more believable. Like if you ask them, they can say what they want gitu. And market is also predictable, and usually traditional business model are sufficient enough gitu. We can see it in several business model, in family business, and like we see in Blockbuster, if we want to compete with them, we can just sell maybe lower price ticket gitu. But now in disruptive era, we found out a new innovation, like the one named disruptive innovation. Well, the problem is not well understood, new market, and innovation is very dramatic and game-changing. We doesn't know what we want. Even when we ask, do you need this? Maybe we doesn't even know what we need. We never know that we need Gojek. Market is very unpredictable, and mostly traditional business models will fail. That's why for several samples, like we see Netflix already replaced Blockbuster, Gojek already replaced Ojol, and Halodoc replaced one-on-one doctor appointment. That's why two main keys for everyone. I think everyone, for people, organization, MSMEs, and big startup or corporate, is the first one, of course, technology, because technology is the accelerator for us to be able to serve better for human needs. And the second one is collaboration, because collaboration and technology, as we can see, like in Halodoc, how he collaborate with Gojek in order to serve the customer needs, because the customer demands the service to be faster, better, so they need to collaborate using technology. And maybe I'll share this story about Paragon, because in Paragon, innovation is a culture that has been built for a long time, and we can see it in 5 core values. We have 5 core values in Paragon. The first one is divinity, ketuhanan, and the second one is greed, ketangguhan. The third one is humility, kerendahan hati, caring, kepedulian, and the last one is innovation. Even we have symbol or mascot for that named Novo, because we believe that what our focus is how we can find the paying customer and serve them better and deliver entrepreneurship spirit in all over a Paragon activity. That's why from previous, when Paragon first known, we also develop and transform our product. If you can see, maybe several of you know Wardah as a brand in Paragon. The left one is the brochure of Wardah Jadul a long time ago. Like you can see, it's very segmented for Muslim person, but the team listen to the customer needs, that they demand for a more modern brand, universal brand that they can go on without and be proud of. So we transform and relaunch it to the right side, and we don't stop there, because we listen to other customer segment. Like we see the beauty junkie segment in makeover, and teenagers need to have beauty problems, so we deliver Emina. And not stopping that, even in pandemic, we also deliver new product and innovation. Like the first one is Cuff for men. Maybe if you quite know about it. And the second one is Labore for sensitive skin. And the last one, we also launched BioDev. This is our first body wash and our strategy to enter the body wash segment in personal care game. So pandemic hopefully doesn't stop us to innovate. And we also use several innovation tools and programs such as business model canvas. I believe that you guys know about it. Design thinking, Scrum, Gemba, etc. And we also try to collaborate because we believe that if we didn't collaborate inside of our set, the innovation cannot sustain and happen. Like we also develop several programs such as Paragon Innovation Summit. It's like a trademark event combining between digital and collaboration into students, several startups to share and accelerate their idea here. The second one is Paragon Innovation Challenge. It's like an internal program to highlight the innovation spirit so they can compete and fulfill their needs to innovate, delivering new ideas. And the last one, we also just held in several months ago, Paragon Youth Innovation Academy, like said, collaboration between campus, several students in campus, 40 students, if I'm not mistaken, to deliver new business. So there will be bootcamp from Paragon, and they will use 24-step discipline entrepreneurship, the same method that GCIO Business Innovation used in delivering business model innovation. So I think that's all that I can share today. Be ready to face the world as an entrepreneur, and I'll invite you guys to let's start delivering value. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the sharing, Calvina. Nice, interesting sharing about the mindset, the types of innovation, also the example of how Wardah transformed from the jadul brands, and now we recognize Wardah not only in Indonesia but international brands. Okay, we now open a Q&A questions for all the audience. If hopefully the committee already share the link in Slido. Okay, then, but first I would like to invite, for those of you who want to ask directly in this Zoom, MS Team sessions, please. I usually use Zoom, so that's why. Not surely say Zoom, whether it is Google Meet or Teams. Okay, is there any of you who wants to ask? Just raise your hand like me, like what I did before. Okay, then I'll call you and give the opportunity to ask directly to Kak Calvina and to Kak Alif. Okay. While waiting for the audience asking their question, I'd like to chat the Slido. The Slido link already put in the chat box. Okay then. While waiting for the audience, I'd like to confirm again, especially there's notifications. Okay. Since most of the audience were students like me, for Kak Alif and Kak Calvina, do you have a recommendation? What is the first step to take in creating the mindset, and what step to take to become an entrepreneur? Kak Alif first, maybe you can answer by sharing your stories about how you come to be entrepreneurs and creating Cyclus.
Thank you. So, first of all, probably I'm starting with my management consultant work. So I used to work in a more like a sustainability project, and it creates a lot of interest in me in sustainability. That's actually one of the key first thing, something that is like click on you. Okay, this is something that I really want to do for the rest of my life, trying to solve this problem. And one of it currently is, in general, is actually sustainability. I really want to create a business that could create impact. So that's how I started Cyclus. I met with Yana. So I'm one of the founding team. I'm the first employee of Cyclus, basically, and then trying to solve this plastic problem, because I really understand not only I can create an impact by literally zero waste if you buy from Cyclus, and then actually also create the business itself, because we see if you get from bulk, actually we can also give a product that is more cheaper, right? That is cheaper in market. So that's one of the things that I think not only in the impact side but also the business side it makes sense, and then I'm trying to work on that. Thank you.
Okay, Kak Alif. So you start to work first after graduated, not just directly become entrepreneur, and you found your calling while you're working and then start the Cyclus. Okay, and how about you, Kak Calvina? Do you have any suggestion for us how the first step to build entrepreneurial mindset?
Okay, Pak Parama. Maybe first of all, as I was student before and I am still, I think the first thing that we have to do is asking to ourselves, are we really ready to be an entrepreneur? Because entrepreneurship is really, I cannot say it's easy, because maybe Palif have many story about how hard it is yet. And maybe we have to ask ourselves, do really we want that kind of challenge and uncertainty? Because for me myself, I believe that growing up, looking at my mom and dad's work as entrepreneur, like they are a shopkeeper. We have a small shop in Lampung, back in Lampung, and I saw that even after I work in Paragon, I always try to create something new and to sell it to others. Like maybe several students also have that, like in your habit as a student. And I think that's quite a sign, like I as an entrepreneur, because we also want to deliver some new challenges, exploiting new opportunity. And the second one, I think the most important thing too is finding a team. Because like when we read at the slide, entrepreneurship cannot be alone. You need to find partners, because when you are a team of a group startup that you want to create, you will be excel in one things. Like maybe you're very good in marketing, but you cannot do it all. That's why you really have to find your what kind of business that you want. Like maybe for Mas Alif, her passion is in sustainability, but maybe on others, maybe it's finance or anything, and you find partner and teams that you fit with and have the same vision, but of course need to complement you. So you cannot find someone that you really fit, but maybe you guys have the same skill. You need to find other people that really complement you. So when you face things uncertainty, you have a team to build and share the experience. I think that's from my opinion.
Okay. First, ask yourself, it's not easy, Rato, being an entrepreneur and also find a partner. Thank you, Calvina. I could relate somehow since when I was in as students during my first year, I also sell things, especially foods, while the others are fundraising for the activities, their organization. I do it for myself. Okay, I saw relate questions with the previous one, building a mindset from Dimas in Slido. Maybe you could help us share the Slido. It's regarding being an entrepreneur while working, whether it's as employee or have another career. Could you be an entrepreneur while working 9 to 5 from Dimas? I would like to ask the one who's still working first as an employee before move forward to Cyclus. Calvina, what do you think? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's me, the one working 9 to 5 in the company. So I guess like what the slide before explained, in a corporate we name it entrepreneurship. It's like because if we have a big company, we cannot just rely on existing business model because disruption happen, right? And thankfully, Paragon captured that, and they create a new division, and I was appointed to join the division GCIO, the Group Corporate Innovation Office. It's like a corporate startup. Like we implement entrepreneurship. So like I can wake up every day and doing entrepreneurship, but maybe the different part is like if you go on your own to create your startup, you need to find your own investor. But maybe there's a adjustment in entrepreneurship because the investor is the corporate itself. So whatever business that we want to create, I have the opportunity to explore. Like maybe I want to create a digital product or maybe a new business model in maybe like healthy segment. It's up to me, but I have to convince to the investor, like, do you want us to go with this product, with the project? So there's also pitching like in a startup company. And I also have several failed experience like pitching my ideas and not successful. But entrepreneurship is really linked to failure because we really have to be adaptable with failure and just remember to get up again. So it's possible.
Okay, it's possible. Even Calvina, as he said, while working as an employee, he also doing pitching and also many entrepreneur activities there. Okay, thank you once again. Now move to Alif. As the first employee of Cyclus, what do you think? Whether you can work while doing entrepreneurship activities? How is it, Alif?
Hello, can you hear me?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm lost a bit, I guess. But totally agree with what Tina has said. If I were you guys, and then I'm working 9 to 5, I will go to an entrepreneurship kind of thing, because first it relates to whatever your passion is on entrepreneur, and also it relates to whatever you're currently doing. So if you have the opportunity to do entrepreneurships, I would really recommend you on doing that. But for example, if you want to create a side hustles, I do think that just go ahead and then try it for side hustle. But for me, I think if you already knew that after your side hustles, this is going to work, this is going to success, at one point, you might as well need to jump and then trying to be full time on that whatever you're going to do. Because why? Because actually to create like a really successful entrepreneurship, it needs not only a good clever whatever, but also a real dedication. It means time, etc. So I would say go for entrepreneurship first, and then find if your side hustle is really improving, then you can go full time on your side hustle.
Okay. So after you feel your business already steady enough, the side hustle, you can maybe resign from the previous company and focus in developing your business. Thank you, Khalif. Okay, that's one question from Slido. Then we move on to the live attendance. I mean, for those who want to ask directly to the speakers, please just raise your hand, open mic, or you can type in chat box. But I prefer to speak. It's faster than typing. Is there any one of you who want to raise a question? Okay, you can raise your hand first. And while waiting, I'll move to Slido again. It's directed to Mbak Calvina, of course. In Paragon Innovation Challenge, is there any reward for the employees? And has there been any innovation that got implemented? And could you give us example if there is, please?
Okay. So I think there's a reward. I think I show the slide too fast. Yeah, it's small, but there's a note there that the winner will be go to Legoland Malaysia. So the poster is about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Paragon Innovation Challenge. Yeah, so yes, there's a reward, and it's also a team-based project. And because there's an innovation, they have to implement it first before they submit the programs, the proposal. Because once again, innovation is different than creative. Between innovation and creativity, the biggest difference is creativity is just an idea, and innovation, you have to implement it. So it definitely has to be implemented. So can wait for you guys to join Paragon, and maybe you guys can follow Paragon Innovation Challenge too.
Okay. Thank you, Kak Alvina. Then another other questions about the failure. As you mentioned before, Kak Alvina, entrepreneurship is very familiar with failure. Can Kak Alvina and Kak Alif share the ways to dealing with failure? Because I relate with the questions. For us, it's quite scary to express our ideas. People, our friends, maybe shun us, or even we afraid that our grade would be fall down if we focus on business. Kak Ali first. Can you, if you're not, you don't mind, share the experience of failure and how you overcome it?
Okay, sorry. Just changing the signal. Yes, for me in Cyclus we have been working at least 26 different business models. So we try in warung, we try in apartments, we try with vending machines, we try with gerobak, we try with everything. And it's all failed until these delivery models really took off. And how you actually can deal with failures, my suggestion is actually create those passions and also those perseverance things. Why? Because it's very essential to really understand what you want, right? For example, let's say that I don't give give anything to plastic problems. I wouldn't go this far to actually trying to make this impact, because if I don't care about plastic, that's why I think the vision itself needs to be like very, very close to your heart. The problem itself very close to your heart. And then although there is like some failures, you will keep just trying until you cannot try anymore. So I would really say stick to the goals itself and then trying to shape like very sharp goals that you want to, solve for the rest of your life. Not for the rest of your life, but, you're trying to, be something that becomes your priority for example, for the next 2 or 5 years.
Okay, okay. So Cyclus already tried in many places to sell then. Okay, thank you for sharing, Khalif. And move to Mbak Kalvina. How is your failure stories, if you don't mind sharing with us?
First of all, keren banget Mas Alif, 26 business model ya. Wih, keren sih. So cool. Okay, maybe my failure story is when the first time I joined business innovation in GCIO, because well, before I haven't learned much about business acumen, I just aim for a customer segment like millennials that want to have certain problems, and I just go with it in maybe 3 months to develop the ideas and go on and go on and go on. But I forgot about the investor appetite, because when you want to present your project, you need it to be in what we call it, yeah, a big potential that it can go big. Because if at that time I really look into small pond, really small pond and very niche, and it's the investor think that it's too fast for us to invest in that area, because what I offer is very specific. It's a niche segment, so they didn't buy it. So what did I do? Yeah, it's easy to say, so just move on. But but actually, that's okay, because the first thing we have to really to divide a failure and mistake. A failure is that you have already tried and you already learned about it. You gain something about it, but you cannot tolerate mistakes. So failure is very okay entrepreneurship. Especially like we have to embed that agile spirit. Like if you try and you fail, it's okay, and you just try again, because without failing, you don't even know what's right, right? Because at that time I know, oh, that's what my company focusing on, what's they you'll focus on, and that's the same even if you are not entrepreneur. So you be zooming out about what is in Indonesia or maybe in investor, what they are looking for, because I believe that each venture capital have its own appetite. Like there is someone who will focusing on food, focusing on certain things, and of course, it's always have to answer the customer problems, because customer is always have to be in the first in line. Thank you.
Thank you, Kak Kalvina. Well, the first you see a small pond, you solve it, and you zoom out to see a bigger problem. But the key is still solving the customer problems. Like in industrial engineering, we learn about helicopter view, right? Viewing the problems not only in a small way but also in holistic way. Thank you. Then we can move to the questions. Is there any live question first before moving to other questions? Okay, waiting 1, waiting 2. Okay, and it's about finding a partner, finding a business employee. Well, for example, I, a student in a university, in a college, I want to start a business. How to get the employee or the partner, and what's the strategy for long term of expanding the business? I'll ask Mas Ali first about finding like how you find Yana in Cyclus.
Since this is a very specific questions for you in college, just my personal opinion, okay? Take it or leave it. But for me, just do well on your whatever you're doing first. Do well on your if you're in college, just make sure to get like a good degree, etc. And then if you can make time for that, then you go for a business. But before you go for a business, the first step you want to create is actually what is the problem. Because if you create, you understand the problem, you create what Mbak Vina has said about the paying customers. And after you get the paying customer, you get the business. So what the mindset is, it needs to be like the business, not the business first, but first the problem itself. And since you are mostly from industrial engineering, I would go for like innovations. Uh, not not that I degrade like simple business, but trying to dream higher, because people in ITB could dream higher. Indonesians can dream higher. They can dream about innovations and etc. And then if you want to scale, we need innovations, right? So you think about the problem, think about the innovations, and next is actually trying to validate those ideas. How is actually what actually has been introduced by our speaker Martina about like Paragon Innovation Challenge. There are a lot of incubators and a lot of challenge. You can test or validate your ideas there. If you didn't, if it's not good, then you find another problem, you find another business. But don't just go for the business first, but trying to the problem innovations, trying to test it out. We have a lot of incubators, a lot of challenge, and then we trying to validate all of those ideas there, and then see if it works. Then you go for the business. So that's the journey that I would like to share to the to people here, especially in college.
Okay, thank you. For those of us college student, focus on your grade first, yeah. Be sure you can obtain a degree at least. You can pass your bachelor degree, because several, not only one, several of my classmates, they were too focused on their business, even they couldn't complete their bachelor degree. So after that, you can focus on solving the problems and also create innovations and validate your idea. Then from Kak Calvina, what's your suggestion for this?
Yeah, for para main masalah, I cannot agree more, yeah, because I believe that grade is not important, not so important, but maintaining fair grade is showing our responsibility as children, in my opinion. So just do it, finish it, and if we want to zooming out the process of your development in your business, maybe the first one is like business innovation. So you find the problems, like Mas Alif said. After you find a pain point, solving the right customer, you believe the product already fit. After you validate it, then move on to the next process, how you operate it in business operation. So first solve the innovation problem, because if I was an investor or maybe several VC too, they will also look, is the problem really existing? Do the problems has already solved by others? Because if you offer a product that I just can buy that product, I don't have to buy yours. You need to be unique. You need to be different. Then after that, then you can focusing on how you can operate it and scale it up. But first, focus on the innovation first. Thank you.
Okay, adding what Khalif said before, defining problem, innovation, validation, then we can move to operation, then scale the business up. Thank you, Kavina. Okay, there's a question from Budistia. Is Budistia present in the meeting? Why don't you just ask directly? Okay, so Budistia already has a small business and how to create innovation so that businesses can survive and be sustainable in this pandemic era. Speaking about sustainable, I'd like to invite the one who's working in a sustainable business. Of course, Paragon is sustainable, but the one who's working to reduce plastic waste. Khalif, please. Sustainable and can survive in this disruptive era.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hard truth. It is so hard in this pandemic era. The sales has been going, not very good, and etc. This is something that I want to share. Also, hopefully, also comforting for you, because not only you who experience this downfall. It means that the business is going on, etc. But I would really think about the positive side itself, meaning that currently there are a lot of reports as well as evidence that people are now adopting well in online businesses, in something that is more online. Have people now, instead of going to mini market, they are going for a quick commerce because they felt that it's easier for them. So I would really trying to give you those example on not only like downgrades in business. There are a lot of opportunities, and then you see from those opportunities where your business, whatever your business is, can actually hop on to. So make like you're riding a wave on that. So I think that's one of the key, finding the things that is can benefit you, and then just ride on the wave.
Try to ride the wave like a surfer. I heard in Labuan Bajo there's many beaches that good for surfing, right? But that's out of topic. Yeah, thank you.
You can see the view.
Where's the
You can see the
sea?
view.
Behind you.
Yes.
Okay, so nice. I like to work in that kind of environment. Okay, thank you, Khalif. And speaking about the sustainable, we have triangle of sustainable, as you know, social, economic, and environment. And speaking about triangle, can Kak Kalvina, whose company have a triangle logo, answer this question?
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Papa Rama. Yeah, Paragon's logo is like a flip triangle, yeah. The social, economy, and environment. Because I believe that maybe I wanna add little things about the Buddhist question first, because it's also triggering that how we create innovation in this pandemic era. I think the biggest difference after pandemic is the consumer behavior is really changing. Like when maybe you sell food, at first the priority is maybe the delicious of the products, but maybe it's changed into the how healthy is the product, is it hygiene or not. So my biggest suggestion for you is listen to your customer. Have you talked to them? Like, have you interviewed them? Have you really observed what their behavior? If you have already done that, I believe that you will gain insight that can make you improve your product offering. So what's better? What's needs to be better to be done? And in the long run, yeah, of course we have to be focusing in the triangle, yeah, because when we create a business, we need to find a balance between everything that we give. The first one is, of course, it has to be profitable in economic value, because you cannot be a business but you'll be a poor beggar in the street. Of course, cannot, because we still have it to be profitable for us as the startup owner. And the second one is environment, because like I believe several of the company have environment as their main offering, such as Cyclos as a startup. But because on the trend nowadays, environmental and ethical living has already been a trend in Indonesia. We also have to observe that, because you cannot offer a business model or a product offering that's very profitable, but it disrupts the environment. It will not be received by the others. And the last one, social, of course, because especially in this pandemic era, we are lacking more social value. Because maybe if we are not offline, we are not online, we can discuss it together in Labuan Bajo, ya, nyusul Mas Alif gitu. But because today is online, we need we have also to think about the business that not only just giving social value, but also give social impact, whether it's for the user, the employee, or even it's for the environment. So if you reach the triple bottom line, you can give the better offering for a holistic business model. Thank you, Pak Parang.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Kalvina. Indeed, as Kak Alif said, it's hard to survive in the pandemic era. But if we can strive, ride a wave, and also focus on solving the customer need in the three additional value in sustainable, you can survive. Okay. Now the question just sum up. In these situations, do you think sell product on offline combined online store is still good strategies, or we can directly switch online? Is still online, half offline still okay, but or you can recommend just switch online? For Kak Alif perspective?
I just want to emphasize what Vina has said about really in love with your customer, really in love with their problem. So it really depends on what your customers. You need to be very, very customer obsessed. You really need to, for example, if you sell, I don't know, like tahu goreng, like who is eating this? Like you need to talk to them. You really need to talk to, how do you get this tahu goreng, etc. And then turns out if the majority, for example, like 80%, you see the pattern sales now have it on online, then you go online. But turns out if your majority of the customer is actually people in, for example, right now we're trying to create a pilot in eastern part of Indonesia. They only use WhatsApp. They don't use like apps or whatnot. You cannot use any thing online, right? So that's why I think you need to be very customer obsessed and then trying to work on that. So not following the trend, but really focusing on your customer.
Okay, it depends, guys. Okay, we couldn't generalize, just focus on your customers. And from Mbak Calvina perspective, how is it?
Yeah, totally agree. I think it depends, yeah, because it depends on what is your value offering. If your value offering can be presented through online, then maybe fully online is okay, because usually online leads to cheaper operational fee. Like you don't have to rent spaces, but if your value offering need like more experiential impact, like maybe you like a massage, maybe you cannot give massage online, right? But once again, it also depends. If your value offering is about experimental, maybe you really need still the offline store experience. But if cannot and you see the opportunity, maybe I can just move it online and it's be more efficient, then it's okay to move online and just try, because who knows, yeah, maybe it will be better or it's bad, but just be fast to adapt and move if you have noticed something different.
Yeah, thank you for your answer, Mbak Calvina. Unfortunately, this already reached the end of the first sessions because our time is limited. Could you please give one last final statement for all the audience who wants to create and want to enhance their entrepreneurial mindset? From Kak Ali first, closing statement for us.
Thank you for the closing statement. If you don't have any ideas on, if you want to create a business, I have already said that first you need to create a problem, and there must be a lot of you who, like me, also trying to understand. I don't know. I don't have any problems. Like I don't understand like whatever happens in the world, etc. So I would really say just read more books, talk to a lot of your friends, join a lot of communities, talk with a lot of people. There are a lot of problems there, especially with you guys from industrial engineering. There are a lot of problems that you can solve with innovation. And I'm hopefully, you can, if you're not, looking at Cyclus, but you can look at Paragon that has been creating like a lot of products with innovations. You can really see, the example and then trying to, imitate whatever, but please, first of all, trying to find the problem first and then go with the business. Thank you, Rama, for the time and
thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, Kak Alif. And from Kak Calvina, closing statement for us.
Maybe just adding to Mas Alif's statement, I really advise you guys to not fall in love with your ideas, because every time we find an idea, it's very inspiring and we love it all, and we just want to force the idea to the consumer because I believe that they will buy it. Right? But what you have to fall in love with is the problems. You really love the consumer and the problem, so you want to solve it, whatever the idea is, because it's challenging to find the right product or services that really meet their needs, not ours. I think that's all. Thank you so much, Bapak Rama and Mas Ali, for this insightful session.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Calvina. Okay, everyone, to wrap up, thank you once again, Mbak Alif and Mbak Calvina, for sharing insight about the entrepreneur mindset, especially Kak Alif already break down type of entrepreneurship and share the example of Cyclus as a social entrepreneur, and also Mbak Calvina add about how to break not debunk the myth of entrepreneur. It's not genetical, guys. We can learn it, we can enhance it, and we all can have the entrepreneurial mindsets. Also working and collaborating with others while solving the problems. Once again, solving the problems. We can find the problem first, then try to find innovations to solve that problem, validate their idea, and if it's okay, we can go into operations and hopefully we can scale it up. And once again, love the problem, not love the ideas. And so, I want to quote from Pak Krishna what already said. COVID-19 can be the acceleration of change with the right technology, formula, trends, and also by knowing what the customer needs, as Kak Alif and also Kak Calvina said, we can win the digital age. Thank you for your attention. Go back to Rimba and Dasha.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Paparama, for the floor. It was a really great discussion from Khalif and Kalvina regarding entrepreneurship. And there's one quote that I also remember that Kalvina said before. To being an entrepreneur, we need to become a pirate with the discipline of Navy SEAL to become sustainable with our businesses. It was very catchy for me, and I still remember it until now. So moving on to the last but definitely not the least session, this session will talk about how data and technology recast the industry with, of course, our notable speakers.
Yes, without further ado, I would now officially introduce our keynote speaker. Maybe for the technical team can share their screen first. All right. So, in this last, certainly not least session, we have Miss Tantiti Tanjung as our keynote speaker. So, Miss Tanti is an experienced engineer in fields of business intelligence, data analytics, and data warehouse. So, Miss Tanti has a vast experience in many private company, multinational companies, startup, even government and consulting. And she is now currently active in community data in Indonesia by being involved as a community lead and speaker. So, and for the CV that Miss Tanti, she is the senior consultant at Deloitte Consulting Southeast Asia. Oh, wow. And she is the business intelligence and analytics section head at Axiata Digital and also IT senior supervisor at PT Kalbe Pharma. Maybe we can move along to the next keynote speaker.
All right, so Ms. Tanti will not be the only speaker on the session, but also our second speaker, Sir Zulhan Sramadan Maharusman, is an experienced business intelligence and analyst with a demonstrated history of working in the startup industry. He is skilled in digital strategy, problem solving, statistical data analysis, and data analytics. He has been working with GoPay for more than 3 years as the lead of GoPay Business Intelligence, and being part of GoPay as an organization makes him very proud since the company focuses on impacting the society. He also loves leading his team full of many talented professionals. Currently, he is a business intelligence lead at GoPay, assistant manager and or business analytics at Tribe Limited, and business intelligence analyst at Joe Planet Indonesia, and has a Master of Science from Bandung Institute of Technology.
Wow, I am very astounded with our keynote speaker for this last session. So, for our speaker today, is everyone available on this meeting?
Yes, Dasha. I'm Tanti.
Yeah. Okay, hello, Miss. For Sir Zulhans.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are perfectly audible. Okay, so I will now sadly me and Rimba cannot directly accompany Miss Tanti and Sir Zulhan, but of course will be accompanied by this our amazing Mr. Moderator. So I will give back the floor to Sir Paraman.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dasha and Rimba. Okay, everyone, after we have strong entrepreneurship mindset and we want to create a business, and as Pak Krishna already said, technology is the key for the disruptive era, as we can see for the comparison 2012 and 2022 from the oil and gas company that I worked before for several years, then moved to technological company. So we will learn about how technological developments in the industry era can help us win this disruptive technology era. So for the first session, I would like to invite Bu Tanti to share her idea. Please.
so I can share my deck because I feel unavailable to share my deck. Hello, I am audible. Oh yeah, thank you. Share my deck. Okay, my screen is visible. Hold on.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Thank you for the time. So I am Tanti. I'm currently working as a senior consultant AI and data for the consulting. My experience mostly is in data analytics and business intelligence. So for today, I will give sharing about Industry 4.0, especially for big data. So I cover three chapters for today. The first is Industry 4.0 era and technology behind it. And second chapter is Industry 4.0. We will focusing on big data. And the third, how we approach this Industry 4.0. Okay, we start with the chapter one, Industry 4.0 era and technology behind it. So before we go to the Industry 4.0, let's see the history for industrial revolution. So the first Industry 1.0 is we call it mechanization. So this is basically using water and steam uh, to to increase the production and to replace the human muscle. So this is like we moving from we using human muscle, we move to using water and steam to have we produce more and more. This first Industry 1.0 start at the end of 18th century. Then the second industry is electrification. This start with we using assembling and using electric energy to produce more because human needs is getting fast and human population also getting bigger. So we need production is more fast and more complicated to fulfill all the human needs. And the third one is automation. This is we start seeing computer and we still start to seeing a robotic standalone robotic. This robotics not connecting to other robotic, and we call this automatization industry, where we already know this. This already happen in every place in the world. We see in manufacture, especially how this robot using a PLC to help them to produce more and more. So the aim for this industry 3.0 is to produce more fast and also more less human touch. So the product is can be have a good standard because all is produced by robot. And the last one we see in the future is Industry 4.0, the cyber physical system. We will see the combination between the physical and the robot. This is we will see how the robot will talking each other. We call it is like IoT. So the different Industry 4.0 and Industry 3.0 is this robot can talking each other. In 3.0, this robot cannot talking each other, but in 4.0, this robot can talking each other and sharing the data, so they can produce a good not only the product, yeah, but they can improve the business process. So this is the amazing part from 4.0 because from the data we can not only produce a good product, but we can produce a more good and efficient business process. Next. The next is the 9 pillar of Industry 4.0. There's a 9 pillar in Industry 4.0: cybersecurity, augmented reality, big data, autonomous robot, additive manufacturing, simulation, system integration, cloud computing, and IoT. For today, I will focus to the big data because we don't have time to cover all. We will focus to big data. We move to the Industry 4.0, the big data. What is the big data? Big data actually just a data, but this data, the volume is very, very huge. So that's only the volume is huge, but also the complexity is more complex than the traditional data. The traditional data is like we see in database like column, include number, include text, but this big data not only text, not only number, but also audio, image, and also video, and also document. So this very, very complex. Because this complexity, the traditional software cannot handle it anymore. So this big data need handled by a specific software to help to process this big data and harvest the value behind it. Every day, now in work, you create like 2.5 trillion bytes of data. This is very, very huge. This is just for one a day. In visual, if we put all this data in Blu-ray disc and we stack in, we want to see in visual, this is like we have a 4 Eiffel Tower and we stack it into in visual. We need to 4 Eiffel Tower to in this Blu-ray disc put in this data put in Blu-ray disc and we try to stack it with like the visual is like 4 Eiffel Tower. So this very, very huge data. And for the surprise is 90% of data today has been created in the last only 2 years alone. So it's very, very massive and we need like 181 million years for downloading all the total data available online. This is all facts coming before pandemic. Pandemic absolutely will change all these numbers because we need to go to online and the data we produce is massive. So this is before pandemic. So we will go to the use case of big data, especially from the industry. I will use Netflix. Netflix, we know Netflix and chill. So everyone know Netflix and everyone when Netflix, that means you have a chill time. Okay. Netflix has a series, it's called House of Cards. Now the series ongoing on the 6th season, and the rating from IMDb is very high, 8.7 from 10, and reviewed by 480,000 people. So this is the real. This is the real one. So this series has a very huge fans. Okay. Param, can I check the time? How many time I still left for me?
Okay, it's still 3 minutes left.
Okay, 3 minutes. So yeah, so we can see the video. I will skip it. So why this series is very, very successful? Because Netflix using big data to find the connection between the user who watch the David Fincher movie like social media and social network, Fight Club, Gone Girl. Also, they like to watch the House of Cards series from England or from Britain. This House of Cards is novel from England, already produced in with the political from Britain. They are not they use our monarchy political. The user also like to watch the movie starring by Kevin Spacey. This is a Hollywood movie. This is a Hollywood actor, and Netflix produced House of Cards, US version, and the result is of course a profit. We can see from this news, House of Cards has Netflix at 4 million new subscribers in Q1. It's only 3 months. 4 million. And if you go to YouTube and you watch the trailer, this is a very serious movie. This is a political, and I think people who want to subscribe to Netflix only to watch this movie is very, very critical people. So we can say Netflix found the secret sauce for their series, and also reflect in their stock. Netflix going to IPO 2020. 27 they launched the streaming. 2011 they launched the Quick Start project and it's not successful. And 2013 they launched the House of Cards debut, and then their stock is keep going increase. This is the proof that they use the big data to produce the entertainment and which match with the user taste. Why Netflix gather a big data? First, they collect the big data from our behavior as the user. They see the rating we put in there. They see the movie we search. They also tracking, do we watch the movie, when we watch the movie, and what device we use to watch the movie, what the nature when we watch the movie, do we pause it, do we replay, the screen. Sometimes if I like the movie, I will pause and I replay again. They also record that behavior, and we rewatch again. Maybe for like fanboy for like Star Trek or other Lord of the Ring, we will want to rewatch again. So they also capture that behavior. And the last, today the credit gets skipped or not. For me, if I like the movie, I will watch all until the credit, because later if I found out who the director, I will see the movie, because I want to know who the great person behind this movie or behind this series. From this, after the gathering this, they used to find the next mass hit series like House of Cards. And also they personalize the video ranking for us. So each of us has a different personalized video and continue watching or not. So sometimes we, like example, we watch a Korean movie, because too many series, they will try to remind us, you need to watch your series, because you just watch 3 series and there's like 10 series, you need to continue to watch it or not. And also offering the film with the similar similar series or similar taste. Like we like, example, I like a drama, so Netflix will keep offering me a drama. And the last one, this is a very interesting, is Alpha. This is a software. It's called Aesthetic Visual Analysis. This is a software from Netflix. From this software, it will give a recommendation for the director to get a perfect shot. So how to put the actor in the camera, how to choose the color, how to choose the contrast, and the light. This also help we like we reduce the production cost, because we have a perfect shoot. And also for us as a user, we like to see a beautiful and visual in our movie. This is a very, very amazing tools. I think these tools produce not only a data, but also an image. This is originally come from Netflix. So all the results, Netflix break out the nomination. They got 35 and they won 7. They beat Disney, Warner Bros. And Sony Picture. This is the 3 is the big player in Hollywood, but Netflix can get more Oscars just in 7 years. Okay, if you want to join Netflix teams, you can submit your resume or CV to them. They have it. Okay, the last chapter is part to approach Industry 4.0. Part to approach, actually,
sorry.
this is not amended.
Excuse me.
Yeah, this is not
interrupted. Yeah. Sorry for interruption, Ms. Tanti. Only
Mhm.
1 minute left.
Okay. Okay, I will jump to this one. This is a part. This is not mandatory, but you can use. But you can use as a step if you want to jump to Industry 4.0. And this is from Deloitte. Basically, is 4.0 is still physical world collaborating with digital world. Like example, the last one in traditional supply chain. This is the traditional one. When we move to 4.0, it will change like this. Everything connect together, not we can say like traditional, you need to waterfall framework, but when you move to 4.0, that means we need to connect all business process to each other. That's the end of my presentation. If you have any question, you can go to my LinkedIn or my email. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the explanations and also the example. That's really detailed, telling stories about how Netflix use their algorithm and big data analysis to provide recommendations, also to create AVA. I didn't know about that until the result they can win an Oscar. Thank you once again for sharing the real example of how industrials can get impacted by data. And for second speakers, I would like to invite Mas Zulhans to share your stories and share your insight to us about knowledge about digital transformations in this disruptive era. Please, Mas Zulhans.
Yeah, thank you, Parama. So happy for being here. Thank you for the committee for having me. Thank you, everyone, still in this call. So yeah, today let me share my screen. Okay, one moment. There's a settings. All right, wait a moment.
Okay. While waiting for Mas Zulhans to join again and share his screens and deliver the presentations, I would like to remind for those of you who want to raise questions, the committee already put Slido link on the chat, and maybe please post it again. So if you have any questions regarding these sessions from Miss Tanti topic and also later Mas Zulhans, please do put your questions on Slido. Even you can vote. You can vote if you think that the questions already that you want to ask already covered for the from the previous questions. But I still encourage, if you want to ask questions, we can just ask directly by using raise hand feature, because it's nice to interact directly, whether it's online or offline, compared to writing it on the chat or put in Slido. So for the next Q&A sessions, I encourage you again to raise the question directly to the speaker, so we can interact more. We would like to see your face, guys, since it's the Grand Summit, Grand Summit of Iecom 2022. I remember a couple of years ago we used to have physical meetings, and it's like nice to see you again. So, Mas
Hello,
Zulhans.
really sorry for the
Okay.
technical issue. Yeah, I think I just
Yes, problem.
got disconnected. Okay. Yeah, I think I couldn't share my screen. I don't know why I couldn't share my screen, but maybe someone can open the deck from.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, maybe allow me to share. Okay, now I'm able to share my screen. Yeah, is it my screen visible, guys?
Yes.
Is it the presentation visible?
Now I'm seeing myself.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think I have an issue. I couldn't share my Google Chrome, the deck. So perhaps can someone from the committee share my deck? I will send this name. Really sorry guys for the technical issue. Sorry. Yep, I will share it in. Okay. Already. Okay, thank you. Sorry, first of all, sorry for the technical issue, guys. Is anyone now can see the screen right now? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, today I want to talk about how the data and technology recast the industry. So next slide, please. Yeah. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Zulhans. So currently, I'm leading GoPay Business Intelligence as a GoPay Business Intelligence lead. And I think recently I've just got a double heading job to be the interim head of payment business intelligence. So yeah, I can say my career journey is like a roller coaster, because back then I was not a data guy, meaning that not in the data related major. I graduated from geodetic and geoinformatic engineering in ITB, and then after that I worked in an engineering consultant, and then I took a master's degree in industrial engineering and management, also in ITB. So I was in industrial engineering student back then, and then that's my first turning point to be the data analytics guy. I think because my friend just won a pitching company, and then he invited me to join his startup company to build a product there. So that's like a life-changing experience for me, because I knew that I can learn more about startup and how startup can drive the disruptions of the incumbents, so on and so forth. And then after that, my second turning point is when I get an offer job as a business intelligence, while I'm still struggling with my thesis. I think it's the fourth semester of my master's degree. And then since then, I took the journey to be the business intelligence career path. So next. Yeah. that's a little bit introduction from myself. Can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so we hear a lot about this as a buzzwords that the data is the new oil. So it's not literally data can replace the fossil as can replace oil as a fossil fuel, but it's more about the value of the data. So meaning the data is really expensive right now, like Pak Krishna mentioned on the previous presentation. And then this is an infographic that, if I'm not mistaken, is in the World Economic Forum report in 2011. So the discussion about data is the new oil. I think it's already a decade ago, like more than 10 years ago. And then it's literally now data is changing how the business works. So many data are flowing right now, like Tanti said, 2.5 quintillion bytes of data is flowing in the world right now. So yeah, the growth of the data is really, really impactful. And then can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, the data there are a lot of data flowing in this world, and then now the world is going digital. So as of the report in January 2020, there are 7.75 billions of total human populations in the world, and then 55% of them are living in the urban area. And then the unique users, unique mobile phones, this unique users mobile phones, the penetrations is already 67%, meaning 2 out of 3 people in the world right now are holding their mobile phone. And then also the internet penetration now is also growing. Like the internet users penetrations now almost achieve 60% of penetration, meaning the access to the internet to all the human population is also growing. And then now it also affects how humans communicate and interact, that the active social media users right now in the world are more than not almost half of the billion population. So like it or not, now we are facing with the data, and the data now is everywhere, even though we are now as a data user right now. If you are using Instagram, you are using WhatsApp, anything, it relates to the data. Next. Okay, so this is Industry 4.0. I think this is report from the McKinsey report. So the new era of global digitalization is coming. And then this is the comparison between the global flows of trade and finance with the growing of the data. But take notes, this is the data flowing between 2005 until 2014. And then in the last 2 years, like 90% of data flowing is, I think it's very, very huge. So yeah, I think the growing of the data, the growth of digitalization is unavoidable. Now we are in the middle of the Industry 4.0. Thanks. Okay, so I want to take one example about the Industry 4.0. This is interesting part because how the data is beneficial to any organizations is there is a statement that in the next years and onwards, the way business will grow will be completely different. So there are a lot of conventional industry organizations, but there is the statement that the only companies which are adapting the new technological advantage and innovations will survive. I want to take one example. It is Amazon, and then there is their competitor, the Amazon's competitor, which is Walmart. Look at the graph. Before 2015, the market cap of Amazon is below a very huge gap between Walmart versus Amazon. But let's see after 2015, when the digital era is growing, and then mobile phone penetration is also growing, and also internet penetration is also growing, the Amazon market cap now is surpassing the Walmart. So the gap is very huge. Then it can strengthen our justification that the Amazon disrupt the incumbent. Previously, Walmart is the largest retail I can say one of the largest retail companies in US, and now Amazon is take over the positions, and now Amazon become the king of the commerce, I think, let's say in US, and then now this Amazon is expanding to all over the world. And then on the right picture, this is the founder of Amazon. Let's see him just sitting in the corner on the small office, and then even the logo is written by hand. And then can you move to the next slide? Yeah, right there now he is the richest people in the world. So how can this happen? So this is based on Forbes 2018. How can this happen? Jeff Bezos starting from a small office and then working alone or maybe with a small team and then now become one of the richest people in the world because he adapting with technology. He utilized technology into his organizations. I think for your information, Amazon's first product is like a marketplace for books, but now Amazon business model is a lot. Their cloud storage, Amazon Prime, and then also the e-commerce of Amazon itself. I think he really utilized the data right now. And then another interesting part from this picture is on the top 5 of the richest people in the world by Forbes in 2018, 3 out of them are in the tech industry. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. If we renew the data again, there will be another 1%. Maybe most of people know the Elon Musk. Now he also become one of the richest people in the world, and he is also from the tech industry. So it's amazing how industry now is changing into new model. Next. Okay, so digital disruption. Yeah, we talk about we have plenty of discussions about digital disruptions today, right? Like for example, Uber, world's largest taxi company, owns no taxis at all. And Skype, maybe now it's WhatsApp or maybe Zoom right now. The largest phone companies own no telco infrastructure at all. Most popular media owner back then, Facebook, creates no content. And the largest accommodation provider, Airbnb, owns no property at all. How mind-blowing is it? And the world's most valuable retailer has no inventory, and largest software vendors don't write the apps. So this is called disruption. So is it someone think about that in the next, maybe let's say we take back the 20 years before, and then is there anyone will see that the biggest accommodation provider owns no property? It's not make sense, right? But now it's happening. So how the world is changing with the data and also with the technology right now. Next. Okay, so I want to talk about the data, use of the data in digital era. We talk about data, and then how the data is used in this digital era. There are plenty of use cases that we can use data. And then this is just some of the examples of how we are using data. First, data can be used to find the new customers. So imagine that there are a lot of people are using the social media, right? And then now there is a terminology called the digital marketing. It's not only an offline marketing, but also now we are moving into digital marketing. So you will see an ads when you see a YouTube or when you see an Instagram, there's a promoted content, something like that. That's one of the example of finding of the new customers. And those companies are using the data. And then second,
sorry for interruption. We only have 1 minute left. Thank you.
Okay. So this is the example: increasing customer retention, tracking social media, predicting sales trend, improving customer service, and also better managing selling effort. Next, please. Okay, so this is one of the how can we innovate? There is an idea called build measure. Learn loop, start from the idea, and then we build the idea. After we build the idea, we have the product, and then we measure the product with the data, and we learn from it. And then it will continue iteratively. And then from the lesson learned, we build the ideas again and again. Next. Okay, so this is some of the example how the big data is then combined with the AI. The first picture is the Amazon robots, and the second picture is the Tesla, the autonomous car in Tesla. And the third picture, the bottom left, is the robot that can cook. And then the last picture on the bottom right, I think it's Tanti already explained it very clearly about Netflix, how Netflix are utilizing the data. Next. Okay, so how's the process? So between data and AI, to create an AI, you need the data. First of all, the data will be generated from the product itself, and after that the data will be stored in the data warehouse, and then after that the organization will create an algorithm and process the data to create a predictive model and use it as a decision support system, and they create the predictive signals. Next. Okay, so and how are my company utilizing the data? So GoTo is very big, have a very big ecosystem. We have GoRide, GoSend, GoFood, GoPay, GoMart, Tokopedia, GoCar. So we want to customers to touch our product maybe every day. So we create a lot of touch points in day-to-day life of the customers. So meaning the consumers will get the satisfaction and use our product more and more. And then for the merchant as well, they can check the incoming order, respond to customer queries, manage inventory, and also analyzing their sales report if they are using our ecosystem. And then from these activities, we're collecting the data and to create more better product, to innovate more and create a better decisions moving forward. Next. Yeah, this is just an example. So for the merchant side, we can help the merchants to grow their business, and then they have a complete visibility on their business performance. For the drivers, we can help the drivers to increase their income, and then to make them the best position themselves for better fit orders. And then for customer, of course, increase customer satisfaction and all in one. Yep.
Sorry, please wrap the presentation up. The time's up.
Okay. So sorry, one more message. We have a collaborate, this is a program of Campus Merdeka. So Gojek is collaborate with Kemendikbud. So if you curious about the technology industry, just come and join us. Thank you. That's all.
Wow. Thank you very much for the sharing, Mas Dulsan. Yes, as we know, we heard a lot about data is a new oil, a new gold, and people talking about data. And yeah, the most important thing is not only knowing about data, but how to use it. As Mas Dulsan already gave example of several use cases of data in your industries. Okay, thank you. Cool, as Afifah said. We can proceed to the Q&A questions. First, as always, I would like to give opportunity for those of you who want to ask directly. Please raise your hand and you can open the mic and interact directly with the speakers. Please. Is there any of you who wants to raise questions? Okay, while waiting, I have a question for Mbak Tanti and Mas Dulsan. Indeed, technology data is important to be implemented in our industries. So, in your opinion, what are the challenges in implementing technology in our industries in general? Bu Tanti first, about the challenges in implementing, like for the Netflix, how can we implement the algorithm or big data analysis to our industries if it's on the small company or just started business?
I think the most challenges part is, of course, the human first. Because based on my experience, most of the humans try to resist when the company or the industry try to move to digital and using more data. They will say that I don't understand how to read the data. I depend to my instinct. I depend to my experience. So human is the first challenge when you want to implement data. Second is how you gather your data, because I think not only in Indonesia, I think in everywhere, gathering the right data is the hardest part. The hardest part, because we sometimes we think we gather the right data and end up we gather the wrong data, or we gather too few data, or maybe we gather too many data, but all the data is not the correct data or the garbage. So that's the challenge. Start with the human first. You need to build data culture in the company. Then you move to choose the right data for your company.
Yes.
Okay, Mas Dulsan.
Yeah, I think from my side, I agree with Tanti. First of all, about the people itself, how the people want to transform. It's about digital transformation, right? And if we talk about the digital transformation, it's a big thing. So it's not only about the people, but also the willingness of these people to transform into data and knowing the technology. And then after that, after the people wants to have a digital transformation, I think choosing the right technology for their own use case is also important. Maybe some technology will be overkill for some use case, but maybe they can start small. For example, if you small startup, maybe you can use the open source first, and after all, that you will choose the technology that can be paid because the data that you collected is bigger and bigger. But I think start small first, then after that you can adapt and learn new things by the time goes on. But yeah, I really agree about the people first, and after that choosing the right technology. It's the challenge. So to know how to choose the right technology, you have to get the knowledge to understand about what is your business and what technology that can fit into your business.
Okay. Okay, so people's is the core in implementing big data, and also move then to willingness and also how to analyze data. Speaking about data analytics, I saw an intriguing questions in Slido. There's a one who asked, is data analytics something unique that can only be done by human and not be automated? What's about your point? It could be automated.
Actually, more I go into data, I more scary with the machine. The machine is getting smarter and smarter. So these machines already can analyze, like give us a simple insight. But I think like 5, maybe 10 years or 15 years, this machine can give, and all these machines can talk each other because the IoT, they can give our prediction. Like if you ever watch a Minority Report, I think that is possible. So now humans still play a big part, but machine is getting smarter and smarter. So I don't know how smart this can be, but human, the unique part of human always can give maybe because the creativity, human always can find something is different from the machine. Maybe the machine can cover like informal, maybe like 10 or 20%. Later they can cover like maybe more than 50%. But human always can create like a new solution. Maybe this is because we as human try to we need to keep change our approach. So yeah, for now humans still play a big part. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how this can go so far for machine.
Okay, thank you for the insight, Bu Tanti. And for Mas Dulha experience, have you encountered with a machine or data analytics carried by machine, not a human?
To be honest, exactly, machine can help us to do more analytics. Maybe to process the analytics, the same amount of size of terabytes of data. Maybe in 10 years ago, it took hours, but now it can be in a seconds to process the data. But for the decision itself, I think a machine will help us to find the pattern and help us to doing the analytics process. But the final decision will be coming from human. I think the human touch is very critical right now. It's very important. Even now, human also input the more data, more understanding, so this AI can learn and become smarter again and again. But I think I can say right now the data analytics, the human touch is very unique because after all, you have to take a decision from this data, right? And then maybe one analytics solutions might to the different problem, it might be different. For example, if you want to solve the problem A with the analytics approach A, maybe it works, but different problem will a little bit uniqueness of the problem B. You apply the same methodology to the problem B, might be the result will not that significant. So I think the human touch, the creativity of the human, it's still very critical because at the end we will decide which the solution that we want to use. I think that's my opinion. Yep.
Sorry, I still mute. Okay, I'm still on mute. Okay, so thank you. A machine is getting smarter and smarter every day, and also they talk to each other to share info, like they like to gossipings. Is it, as you said before, is possible for machine to conduct analysis, and how well is the machine analysis in the PDP systems from your perspective, Bu Tanti?
For now, this machine already can give us simple insight, at least like finding a pattern or give like a suggestion scenario. This already happened. So yeah, machine can do that. At least a simple one. But if we try to, like, we add more coding or add more query, like we want like a custom scenario or custom analysis, this machine give us. This also is possible because this is still a machine, right? So humans still need to involve to help this machine to give the right insight. So, but that's possible. For simple insight, they can this machine can give to us. But if for complex one, we still need to build a build a code to help this machine to understand which threshold, which message we are looking for. So that's possible, which is AI and machine learning.
Okay, thank you. And from Mazlan perspective about the how machine conduct the analysis, how it be?
I think I just want to take one example like the autonomous car, right? The autonomous car, this thing can decide whether this car should be stopped, or is there any people around them, or they have to slowing down or pull the gas, something like that. I think yes, it gives an example that this machine can learn, can doing an analysis whether they have to stop or whether they have to slowing down or just a sudden stop, something like that. And then the scariest thing, last thing I see that there is a robot called Sophia. If someone already saw about Sophia the robot, this robot can talk with human. So you can just like make her like a friend. You talk something and this robot can have the answer. It's like thinking like a human, and then but yeah, at the end, the human involvement is still very important because the human will add more knowledge to modify the algorithm. So this robot can think like the human. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So yeah, the robots already own a citizenship.
Yeah.
Okay, and proceed to the next questions. What do you think is going to be next disruptive innovation after the era of big data, AI, ML, machine learning? I mean, as Bu Tanti already mentions, the data that generated in the last 2 years comprised of 90% of all data in the world. What do you think would be the next disruptive innovations, Bu Tanti?
I think the next is we will have to choose. We want to go to Mars with Elon Musk, or we stay in Earth with Mark Zuckerberg and going to Metaverse. I think that because this is Industry 4.0 is still just early stage. So still the next is after we living with this AI machine learning, our world is totally changed. We can maybe digital world become our real world, not our current real world anymore.
Okay. Digital words. And what about from Mas Duhan's perspective? Next,
from my this is my personal opinion. Maybe metaverse, and after that, maybe going to Mars is become like a lot more a lifestyle. Like maybe all the people can go to Mars. Oh, I want to have a vacation. Just go to Mars. Something like that. It's that easy. It's that simple. So Virgin Galactic and then Jeff Bezos also are competing to create very unique propositions of people going to Mars, of the space travel, something like that. And also maybe in the next 10 or 20 years, maybe human will live side by side with the machine. We don't know, right? Maybe almost everyone in their home will have their own machine to help them to do the daily activity. That's what I'm thinking about, because AI, artificial intelligence, now is growing more and more. The infrastructure is supporting that. And then we are on the, 5G, 6G, 7G. The more data that we can analyze, that we can collect, and we can send every second, it will improve the technological innovation. I think it's all possible. But whether it's going the utopia or dystopia, we don't know yet. But I hope it will be a utopia in the next.
Okay, from interacting in the metaverse, owning our own robot, or traveling to Mars, it's more sound like science fictions that we usually watch in Netflix. Okay, okay. Hopefully, it could be utopia, not dystopia.
Correct.
Okay, move to the next questions. It's can you share us a story about when you encounter false data when gathering information from external sources, and how could you deal with that? From the one who thought data as a big and oil first, Mas Zulhans.
Okay.
So
how we are handling the external data? First of all, we have to design the data. We have the design how we design our data warehouse, right? And then when we want to collecting the external data, this data need to be structured first. And then when they maybe it will be streamed into our data warehouse, but after that we will do the ETL, extract, transform, and load, to make the data more structured. And after that, after the data it became more structured, and then we remove the we call it the garbage data, right? The garbage data, the data that doesn't have any function. So we clean the data, we do the ETL, we make it more structured, then it can be used to do the analysis. I think we can use the external data, but it's matter how we are going to structure it and store it into our data warehouse system. Yeah, hope that answered the question.
Okay, and Butanti, have you experienced encountering false data and overcome it during analysis?
Yeah. Of course, 70% our job to make sure this data is clean. So yeah, you must check with all. You cannot just depend on the database. Even the database come from the reliable one like ERP, you need to check it first. Sometimes you need to check with the human, because that human activity produce the data. So you need to like maybe you check by yourself. You can use and everything. So you can use SQL. You can use, maybe if you familiar with Tableau or Power BI, you can use it because it's more visual, it's more easy. But you also need to ask yourself and be curious: is it the right data? If you see something different, like something up layer data, you need to check with the user or someone understand this, how this data coming from. So this is definitely is very common. If you want to drill to the data world, you will see a garbage data everywhere. And don't be scared. You must handle it, because that's become your daily. you will facing it every day. That is very normal.
Okay, thank you, Butanti. 70% of our time would be spent in cleaning data. Don't be afraid, guys. But I think they are not afraid, Butanti. They just don't know where to start. Most of us didn't know how to analyze data, where to collect data, and how to interpret data. So, can you recommend us an education path to learn about big data, business intelligence, from the perspective of us, most of us still university students? And I would like to invite the one who mentioned about Bangkit first to share, to give us recommendation. Please, Mas Zulhan.
Oh yeah, I think it's more like an internship period in Bangkit. We have already conducted this, and then I have one team member from this program. So I think it's giving the opportunity to the students to get the real work experience while working in the tech industry, right? So I was teaching this person from the beginning. I think the best experience is doing the hands-on, instead of you are just hearing a lecture or reading a book. I think the best thing when you are doing the hands-on, so you know completely how the things is working, and then what is the practicality of data analysis, so on and so forth. So I think getting involved, I can say kecebur dulu. So I mean, like, getting involved and then get an internship or something like that can help you to grow to be the person that you want to be, whether you to be a data analytics guy or business development guy. You will know what are you when you are to try it. So, but Other than that, maybe you can use. There are plenty of courses right now, free courses. Maybe in YouTube you can also learn it. But the best gurus, I think the experience thing you need that as well.
Okay, thank you, Mas Tulhan. There are a lot of resources, guys.
Correct.
If you want to be able to swim, just go to swimming pool. If it's still a pandemic, yeah, and try to swim there. You cannot just
Yeah.
watch Michael Phelps
Yeah.
swimming in the pools. You have to go to swimming pool or even river near your house. Or to oceans like Mas Alif before living in Labuan Bajo. Okay, so from Bu Tanti perspective, how to start from the really beginning to
Okay.
study big data.
Yeah, same like Mas Johan. Johan also kecebur. Yeah, I'm not. My background is not data. Yeah, my background is IT, but I'm not coming from data. And when I'm in Kalbe Pharma, they start to build data warehouse, and yeah, I am the initial team. So we start everything from zero. And I can say, if you're still a university student and you have interest in data, you must learn about database very detailed, because this is the foundation and very useful. Even I'm very thankful with my lecture because she is very good one. So I really understand this database, that relational, that normalisasi, everything you must learn it, because that's a very useful letter if you drill to the data work. That's the one. I think you can get it from your campus. The second one, you can learn from use Udemy. You can, if you want to go to free one, you go to YouTube. Coursera, it's very cheap. Udemy, I think less than 200,000 rupiahs. You can have like Power BI. Power BI is a free tool. You just download it. At least you still use it in your local. It's free. Or you want more free and not download something, you can use Google Data Studio. You just need a Google account. That's it. So you can try by building your, maybe you just analyze with all the free data. We have a lot. We have Satu Data Indonesia. You can download it, or you can use anything data you find in internet. That's one. The second one, yes, going to project is the best choice to understand how to use the data. With this all Campus Merdeka internship, you try to find a company very data driven. I think there's now a lot of company very data driven. Right? You can ask the HR first. I want to go to the data. Can you put me a data in data department so I can learn more about data? So you specifically go to that department and learn about data. And maybe my one tips for me, if you want to learn about data in very hard way, but it will very useful, try to crunch financial data. That's the hardest one. Yeah, well, Mas Zulhan, no? That's the hardest
A lot of those.
Based on my experience, I also facing the finance data in Kalbe first time. That's the hardest one. I cannot play for a lot of many nights, but this also helped me understand how to analyze the data and help me to understand because how this company working, because money is showing the human behavior, so it's very helping. So if you want to try the hardest part, choose the financial data and accounting.
Okay, thank you, Bu Tanti. Guys, as Mas Zulhan and Bu Tanti said, there are a lot of resources. Either it's free on YouTube, other platform, or you can pay a little bit in Coursera, Udemy, even in UDX, Coursera, you can apply for scholarships. If I can to add, you can learn in many resources. And also, if you had an opportunity, apply for internship and other instances that you can work with data. Okay, once again, thank you for sharing your insightful knowledge this afternoon. And the committee just told me the time's already up. And to wrap up, we learn about how technology, especially data, is vital to our lives. the data comprise of a lot of information. If we can try to analyze, it can be beneficial in our business. And as Mas Dulhan and Batanti already mentioned, as a students, there are a lot of resources, and be sure to learn it, whether it's from online for your lecturers, free or paid. It would be beneficial for your study or your career. Thank you once again, Mas Dulhan and Butanti, for sharing their insight. Okay, and to close these sessions, I just like to quote again what Mas Krishna said in the beginning. Adaptability is the only key skill needed to survive. Adaptability to change, adaptability to learn new things about big data. Thank you for your sessions. From Mars, we travel back to Earth, especially to the jungle. Then I'll go back to Rimba and Dasha.
All right, thank you very much, Sir Parama, for the floor. After hearing previous discussion, I really feel motivated to listen to all the new knowledge that I just gained. And it is such a comprehensive and well-elaborated presentation from our two amazing speakers, from Miss Tanti and Sir Hans. And what do you think, Dash?
Yes, I very much agree, Rim, about it is such an well elaborated presentation. As you know that we actually right now studying in our major actually learning about data itself, and I feel very motivated to learn better in class, and I feel like many students here as well feel very motivated. So thank you once again.
Yeah, you definitely summarize it up very well, Dash. And of course, to express our gratitude, we would like to invite your representative of Iecom committee, Kak Kansha Dia, to give certificate as a form of appreciation. Kak Kansha, the time and floors are yours.
Okay, thank you for Dasha and Rimba for the time. Okay, so yeah, first of all, I would like to say thank you very much for all of for our moderator, Kak Aditya Parama, and for all of our speakers in the session 2 and session 3 that have given us so much insight about the world, about big data, about entrepreneurship, and about everything that drives a business through this disruptive era. So without further ado, maybe we could, maybe the technical team can help me to arrange the certificate for a bit of our appreciation to the speakers and moderators. Maybe for the technical team.
It seems like we are having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so maybe just wait up, ya Kak.
Okay. Okay, so while we're waiting for the technical difficulty, maybe I would like to say, first of all, thank you for Kak Alif for the insight about entrepreneurship and the journey to drive a business through disruptive era. It was very insightful session, but unfortunately, Kak Alif is no longer with us in the team, in this team right now. So shout out to Kak Alif. And maybe, is the technical team ready right now? Maybe we can go ahead and give us a bit of our appreciation. Okay. Okay, this is the perfect timing. Okay, so our first certificate of appreciation goes to Kak Calvina Liatara, of course, the one and only. Okay, thank you, Kak, for talking about a lot about entrepreneurship. Is all about creating value to customer needs and about all of the insight we get in entrepreneurship itself. So I would like, me as behalf of Iecom 2022, would like to give you a simple bit of certificate of appreciation. Maybe the technical team could help arrange for a photo session, a little bit of photo session with Calvina.
Okay, maybe I would help by counting until 1, okay? Okay, so give your best smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dasha. Okay, maybe we can go to the next. Okay, thank you, Kak. Okay, so this is our next certificate of
Okay. Thank you, Kak Kansa, for the certificate of appreciation session. Once again, I would like to say personally thank you to our amazing speakers and our Mr. Moderator as well for this wonderful session. It was very I didn't know that we needed to hear this materials. It was really wonderful.
Oh yeah, but after this appreciation session, I think that we're still missing something to let off the steam in our heads after listening to previous discussions.
That's quite true, Rim. Do you think an event is complete without any kind of door prize?
Oh yeah, that's true. What is an event without some sort of door prize in such an event? Hence, here we want to have a door prize session for all of us.
Yay! I think this is one of the most anticipated session for the participants, right? So, unfortunately for us and also the committees won't be able to participate. So, this is specifically handmade for the participants. So, oh yeah, how to join the door prize, Rim?
Let's see. So the door prize will be given with the event of upload your best story. So how are we going to do this? First, you guys can upload an Instagram story of your experience in joining Iecom Grand Summit 2022. Create your best creativity in design and content in the story. And also don't forget to tag at Iecom 2022. Then five best Instagram story will get door prize from Iecom 2022, and the winners will be announced in Iecom 2022 Instagram account at Iecom 2022. Icon 2022. And for the deadline of uploading your best story will be on today at 6 p.m.
Wow, okay. I think this step is quite easy for the participants to follow. So don't forget to like screenshot this rule, and then when we reach the end of this event, you guys can just post your best stories on Instagram and you might get a chance on winning the door prize.
All right, that will be the door prize session from Icon Grand Summit 2022. And what a journey that has been going through right now. And this will not be only the prize that we're giving to all the participants coming to the Grand Summit, because the IACOM itself, on all the course of event that we have before, there are some competitions that have been conducted by IACOM. And of course, because this is a competition, there will be winners and there will be prize given to all the winners.
You are right, Rim. So we are going to move along to the next agenda, which is the awarding session, where we will announce the grand finalists and also the winner of IECOM 2022. So without further ado, let's maybe jump right ahead to the session.
All right, but before we're talking about the winner of the IECOM 2020 competition, let's talk about all the grand finalists that have been through a long journey until becoming the grand finalists of IECOM 2022. So let's jump to all the grand finalists. So the first team of the IECOM 2022 grand finalists. The first team is the Industry Boys from Bandung Institute of Technology.
And next grand finalist. Ooh. Okay, the next grand finalist is Andeto Konpo from University of Indonesia. I've seen there's a lot of reaction here, such a warm reaction. So keep it up, guys, because there's still another grand finalist.
Coming to the next team is the Technopollution from Gajah Mada University. Give a round of applause in the reaction and from the feature in the Microsoft Teams.
And the next one is Babies from University of the Philippines, Diliman.
And last but not least, the final team that comes to the Iecom Grand Finalists is the Black Clover from Bandung Institute of Technology.
All right. I guess we have informed and published who is the 5 grand finalists. We've seen that there are a lot of from diverse university, and I guess we should just jump right ahead, Yarim, to the actual winners of ICOM 2022.
Sure, let's go ahead and see who are the winner of our grand finalists.
Okay, I am quite nervous on having this honor, Yarim. Honestly.
All right. See the Danico? Okay. Coming to the third winner, winning $500, which will be granted to the team of, drumroll please, Team Antetokounmpo from University of Indonesia. Give a round of applause for our winners here.
Wow, okay. Is the members of Antetokounmpo is present in this meeting? Maybe we can turn on our, maybe you guys can turn on your cameras first, and then we have a little photo session. Okay, hello winners. Congratulations for this award, you guys. It's totally well deserved. And maybe we're just going to jump right ahead to the photo session. Okay. Okay, to the technical team and to the winners as well. I am going to count from 3 to 1. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, thank you.
All right, so that is our third winner in Iecom 2022 competition. So next up will be the second winner of the Iecom competition, which will be rewarded $1,000. And this second winner achievement will be granted to the team of, drumroll, the team of Black Clover from Bandung Institute of Technology. Give a round of applause to them.
Physical applause. Wow, amazing. Congratulations to Team Black Clover. Maybe we can once again have a little photo session just to commemorate this wonderful agenda. Okay. Okay.
Right. We're seeing 2 members of the team. Probably one more member. All right, there you go. All right, for the photo session as well, we're going to count down from 3 to 1. So give your base pose and smile. 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you for the photo session, Team Black Clover, for being the second winner of Iecom 2022 winner.
Okay, once again, congratulations to Team Black Clover. And that means I have the honor to announce the first winner of ICOM 2022. So let's go on to the next slide. The first winner wins $1,500 US. Who is it going to be? Drum roll, please. Industry Boys from Bandung Institute of Technology. Wow. Congratulations to the Industry Boys. Wow. I really want to see the faces of the winners. So please, for the members, you guys can turn on your cameras. Okay, seeing the members are here, I'm going to count from 3 to 1. So make sure to give your best smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, thank you once again. Congratulations for the Industry Boys for being the first winner of Iecom 2022.
All right. After all the winners' announcement for the ICOM 2020 competition, we would like to give the floor to Kak Kansha to give some remarks to all of our grand finalists of ICOM competition.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity for Dasha and Ringa. So, hi everyone, we'll meet again. First of all, I'd like to give a major congratulations to all top 5 team. You guys are all awesome. All 5 team here have been through a very long journey to be here. First, the online test, then the study case, followed by the amazing race, and finally, the grand final stage where every team were challenged to solve real problem from Paragon Corp. I believe that each team have given their best shot throughout this journey. So please give your biggest applause to Team Babies, Team Black Clover, Team Antetokounmpo, Team Industry Boys, and Team Technovolution through the reaction below. So I would like to see the energy from you guys to give appreciation to our all top 5 team. Okay, thank you everyone. I've seen the reaction below and it's really, really heartwarming. So I personally want to congratulate Team Industry Boys for becoming the first winner of ICOM. And also for Clover and Team Antetokounmpo as the second and third winner. Congratulations for these remarkable achievements. I hope that all of you can achieve even greater things in the future. That's all from me. I hope everyone the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you and see you in the next ICOM. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you. Back to you, MC.
All right. Thank you very much for the remarks from Kak Kansha. And biggest congratulations to all the winners of the ICOM 2022 competitions. And for those who has not win the competition yet, don't let this turn down the spark of competing inside you. And hopefully you guys will bloom sometimes in the future competition, achieving the goals that everybody here. All right, today we had absolutely amazing speaker session, door prize session, and also awarding session for all the participants. But sadly, now we're coming to the end of ICOM 2022 Grand Summit.
That is so sad, Rim, to hear that we are coming to an end of the show. However, this event won't be as fascinating without all of our incredible media partners as well.
That is absolutely true, Dasha. We would like to say a lot of thank you to all the media partners Sejuta Cita, Seputar Kampus, RTC UI, Beta Belajar, Seputar Kuliah,
Oshi Edu, Info Kuliah, T Radio, Unpad Radio, Ganesha Operation, and SCH Campus. And not only the media partners, but also all of the amazing sponsors who have helped us shape this incredible event. Thank you to PT Paragon Corp. A little bit background once again, PT Paragon Corp is an FMCG industry that produces brands such as Putri, Wardah, Amina, Makeover, Kaf, Labore, Biodev, Kristalur, and InstaPerfect. This time, Paragon opens up a big opportunity for last year students and job seekers to be part of the Paragon Management Trainee or Paragon Leader Development Program. To the audiences that would love to join Paragon, please visit Paragon Career website at career.paragoninnovation.com or their Instagram at grow@paragon and their LinkedIn Paragon Technology and Innovation.
In addition to PT Paragon Core, we also have PT CI. PT CI or PT Surya Energy Indotama was established on 6 December 2007 and it has taken over a subsidiary of PT LEN Industry on 14 January 2009. And PT SAE is known as a pioneer in providing solar power in Indonesia and also pioneer in providing clean energy services. PT SAE has converted solar power to electricity and reached peak of capacity of over 30 megawatts and also installed thousands of solar energy throughout Indonesia.
Okay, once again, thank you for our sponsors because we could have not done this amazing event, the Grand Summit of Iecom 2022, without you guys. Okay, so because we are coming to an end of this event, we would like to ask for the technical team to turn off the screen sharing because now we are going to have a communal photo session with all of the participants, the committee, and us as well. Okay, so we encourage for the participants to turn on their cameras and we're going to have a little photo session together. Okay, we are going to wait for a minute or two, Yarim.
Sure. We're seeing some faces right now. All right. Okay. Okay, so a lot of you guys have turned on your camera. For those who has not turned on their camera, please turn on the camera so that we can have the communication session for everyone.
Okay, we're still waiting for a few people to turn on their cameras as well. We're going to take the picture at 4:06. So maybe some of you guys are still preparing for the photo session. It's totally fine. So yeah.
All right, we'll wait a little bit more for everyone to turn on their camera.
Okay, it's 4:06 already. Okay, then I'm going to lead once again for the photo session. So everyone, give out your best smile in 3, 2, 1. Okay, maybe one more time. You guys can change your pose or perhaps, yeah. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you everyone for turning on their cameras.
All right, by finishing our documentation session, this marks the end of Iecom Grand Summit 2022. So thank you for everyone who has come to Iecom Grand Summit 2022, and congratulations for all the winners of the competition, and good luck for future endeavors. We'll see you in the next Iecom 2023. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone. Goodbye.